Welcome to the best 3,000 songs I've heard so far, The Chart Show, an audio revelation of a snapshot in time provided by two gurus of absolutely nothing, save for a bunch of occasional informed and well self-assured opinions about the music reviewed from various genres and years presented on this show. Hey dude, let's go.
Hello and welcome to the next installation of The Chart Show. This is part 3 of our festival review, where we reviewed in the previous weeks the what did we review? I don't remember.
Live Aid.
Live Aid. My partner Dennis Talbot is here with me, and so we reviewed Live Aid in the first show, Woodstock in the second show, and we've brought in a special guest, the most special guest for the third show,
Hey,
Rockin'
everybody.
Rod Bennett.
How's it going? I'm Rockin' Rod.
Exactly. So Rockin' Rod, and unlike so Dennis accuses me of teaching him how to swear.
Rodney taught me to be a better guitar player.
Well,
So, that's
Rodney,
a nice thing to say.
It is.
It is. Rod is a hell of a great musician, great singer.
Yeah.
But he and Talbot shacked up in college, if you want to call it that.
First person I met in Evansville, first friend that I made in Evansville.
They
It
live-
would have been
And then we
June-
started a band.
And actually, this kind of coincides with one of our podcasts, because that week that we did of our graduation week,
Oh, that's right.
I moved down a week later, and that's when I met Rod. So it was June. It was June sometime, or early week, or first couple weeks of June that I met Rodney, and we've been friends since. So
1983.
They live, and for geographical purposes, they live about 3 blocks apart. So,
we've always lived about that far apart. Actually, when we lived in Evansville, we were about a half mile. And now we live about a half mile. He moved out here in Newburgh a couple years before me.
That's crazy. We go back a long way.
Absolutely.
We actually went fishing yesterday, and my mom comes in and she treats Rod like a kid.
Mama made some chili.
Mom made chili.
It was delicious.
So that just goes to show you how we tie
Yeah.
our friends into the show. This is Rod. We're very happy that Rod's our first good friend to have on the show. And this show is about the Monterey Pop Festival. It took place June 15th through the 17th of 1967. By the last day that it ended, it was still 4 days away from the official calendar start of summer, which was better known as that summer as the Summer of Love. The Monterey Pop Festival was the most influential, in my opinion, and my compatriots can give their own opinions, but in my opinion, it was the most influential of any of the festivals that has taken place in the rock and roll era, starting with this festival, and including now Bonnaroo, Coachella, whatever it may be, on an annual basis. So, and we'll get into that after the show. But this one thing about this chart in particular is that you will see after we get into the lineup of the Monterey Pop Festival, if we do the chart, music was changed forever. This chart represents a lot of Ed Sullivan worthy, your mom and dad will let you listen to it, mid-60s pop music, a few indications of what was to come in rock music.
Little edge. Got a little edge to start getting a little edgy.
And the sneaking in of some of the people who were at Monterey.
Exactly.
Woodstock, and they started coming in, and you notice they were climbing. At this point, they were going to be climbing the charts, and you're going to see the other people starting downward.
And some of them not
and there
fast
were
enough.
a few of the ones from the early 60s that continued to have hits through the 70s. So it wasn't everybody. But like you said, the stuff that our parents listened to that were still trying to make hits and still trying to go, this was about the last, it was the
That's
death
true.
knell. It was the death knell.
The Vicky Carr kind of
To
music.
the car. These people were, toward the end of their careers, I mean,
Well, some of them
had some in the 70s.
careers,
right.
They were already primed for the oldies tours. So,
Right. But they weren't going to be the mainstay of rock and roll or top 40 at this point.
That's correct.
And the thing is, too, you got to remember, rock and roll and top 40 a lot of times don't go hand in hand either.
They don't.
So that's we've used these top 40 charts so far throughout the shows that we've done, which at some point we'll do a rock chart. It'd be interesting to do a pop chart and do the next week we'll do the rock, or we'll compare the rock chart to the pop chart of the same week of the same year, and see how much difference there is.
Absolutely. I would say that more in the 1960s, you will see
more
and
similarity.
probably through the mid 70s maybe you'll see more of a incursion, if you will, of rock music onto the pop charts. To whereas when you got to the 80s, the real rock,
it was completely different.
Yeah,
the rock, and there was not very much crossover between the rock and the pop. And
absolutely,
because I don't know, did they? I guess what they considered like the new wave was still. Did they consider that more of a rock, or did it hit more of the pop charts? Something we'll have to look at. I'm not sure. I'm not even going to go out on a limb on that.
It definitely didn't make the adult contemporary charts.
No, well, let's see. The adult contemporary top 40 is going to be different.
And that's what a lot of this stuff is on this. We would consider a lot of this music, because as we were playing some of the songs for Rod's like, well, hell, I don't know a lot of these songs.
Well, we listened to
them. It was a little bit before my time. I mean, we were talking about 83, and now we're going all the way back to, 67. So we're in the way back
We were 2
now.
years.
Yeah,
2 years old at that point.
We weren't even two at this. You were still a couple weeks away, and Rod and I were still at least a couple
two,
weeks.
and you guys were almost two.
Your birthday's is in July, right?
Right. One of the
things it's in June. You're right.
I thought was interesting was that when we were listening to these songs, how I can hear, even though I'm not really familiar with the songs, but I can hear that push towards, but not with the instrumentation as much as the vocally. That sound, that more edgy, that harder,
a little bit more aggression,
a little grittier sound. They're kind of getting that. It's you can see the progression. Whereas, and then all of a sudden they figured out you could do it with the guitar, with that distortion and that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That rock sound.
You hear a lot of this,
but they tried to do it vocally in this period. They were trying to make that transition using the vocal, and that's what I hear from this. Right. When we were listening to that music, it was really interesting to me.
Well, it's the same thing with the organ music, because
exactly the B3s when they pull the sliders out and they start getting that
Yeah, well, because only Booker T. Jones from Booker T. and the MGs, because and they were basically the house band at the Monterey Pop Festival. Only he could really push that a little bit. A lot of these guys were just kind of plinking along on it like it was their...
Kind of almost like a harpsichord. It had that kind of that plinky kind of kitty.
But they had to get that Leslie speaker going, dude. That's what they really... And they didn't really know how to get that going.
Those tubes glowing.
Right. Exactly.
But there was still a very big hint of that kind of pop bubblegum stuff going on here, too.
Oh, well, we still had a lot of bubblegum to go in the 60s.
And it's going to keep going.
The official bubblegum hadn't even started yet.
Right.
But it was headed that way.
There was that little sub-genre.
Would you guys kind of say that's kind of... We were kind of seeing the beginning of the divergence of the... your mom and dad will allow you to listen to this, and we'd rather listen to this.
Exactly.
Kind of like...
don't listen to Black Sabbath, listen to the Partridge Family.
Yeah, exactly.
But if Black Sabbath's saying, Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, they might let you listen to it.
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
True.
That's kind of the way that's what you're saying.
Ozzy could have actually remembered the words, too.
Yeah.
So... so... But, no, and so that's kind of where we are. And that's why this show was the one I've been most looking forward to, because it really does just kind of kick off an era. So with that in mind, we're going to go through our top 40. Always remember that we always link the top 40 list available to you in the podcast, as well as Dennis creates a fantastic Spotify list
under my name. If you want to go under Dennis Talbot, there's it'll be a link, and it'll say top 40 singles of June 17th.
And it'll be linked. Yep. So with that in mind, we're going to kick it off with a song that demonstrated that Berry Gordy was hungry for money and wasn't really willing to push the envelope at this point after some really cool songs in the early and mid-'60s, and that's The Happening by the Supremes. It was kind of a show tune-ish.
It's a happy tune.
It's a happy tune, but it's also not Set Me Free, Why Don't You, Baby? You just keep me hanging on. It wasn't anything like that.
It was made for radio, and it was a pop tune.
Isn't there a pop band called The Happening? Aren't they on?
They're on this too, yeah.
They're on the same list? That's interesting.
So we had this, this was an album that I had the double album of the Supremes' greatest hits, and as a child, and I just recently, and I think if you look at Ages of Rock when we do our podcast, I just rebought another copy of that album, But anyway, that was actually my favorite song off that
Really?
that album, because it was, when you're a kid, it's a fun song. It just when you're 5 years old and you're got your little plastic little kind of almost like a little Tykes record player out and you're playing these songs. You don't want to listen to gloom and doom and my woman left me and all that shit. You listen. The Happening is a fun song. So it's always one of those ones that I remember. I remember this song more off that Greatest Hits album than any song on there. So
well, there you are, and that's it's a song that I know.
It's a little time machine, like we talked.
It is a time. This is definitely a snapshot to where when you hear it, you don't think, "Oh man." I remember
of a kid listening to this
record. Right. It doesn't sound like, "Oh man,
I
could hear." If that song came out today, I would, that would sound fresh. No, it doesn't. It's in that moment. It brings
back a memory for me.
It's exactly. It's in that moment in time. And by the way, Rod, as Dennis has probably shared with you in the past, one of the things we remark on this show repeatedly is that that these lists and the music that comes along with it does transport us to these points in our life. Happy, not happy, whatever it may be. That's one of the things that I know that you guys are musicians. I just have immense and wonderful taste in music.
One of the great things about music.
It is
just that
the escapism.
It can actually bring you to a time or an experience or a moment in your past.
You hear a song and then all of a sudden you can see it, you can almost smell it.
Yeah.
And
I see myself being like,
for a couple seconds you're just gone.
I want to be like 90 years old with my earbuds laying.
He's having a seizure. No, he's listening to a great song.
No, he's back in 1983.
Exactly.
He just took the time capsule back.
Yeah.
What's he listening to?
Some
guy named Ozzy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So.
All right, get back to 1967. Let's go back to there.
Okay, go ahead. The next song.
Okay, Girls in Love by Gary Lewis and the Playboys. A song that I listened to. Don't really remember it. Don't really care much about it. Gary Lewis and Playboys that is Jerry Lewis's.
Absolutely.
His cousin?
It's his son.
Oh, it's his son.
It's his oldest son.
They sound like a
fun
group of guys.
But it is a band.
They had some good songs in the '60s, but this wasn't one of them.
But it is a band that my parents liked. When they were because I was born in '65. There was one they were just starting out with me in '65. They were married in '64. So this was a band that my dad still to this day.
When in '64? I want to do the math.
Oh, there's. My mom listens
Sorry,
to the show.
Darwin and
Judy. There was not 9 months in between it. I figured that out on the school bus going to school.
Did you have to take your shoes
in junior high? No, in junior high, I went one day going, shit don't match up.
There was some hanky
going
on.
But it wasn't the fact that they did it because of that. They were planning on getting married. They just
got a little. They put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't like there was no shotguns involved. It was just it was one of those. But it was one of those. It is one of those people that one of those bands that my dad when Channel 9 a lot of the times the PBS stations do these things and they show these older bands coming back. That's one he mentions is Gary.
Gary and Playboys.
And they like those guys. And there again, after this, did they do much? I mean, this was probably they're toward the end of their career, right?
Was their swan, their swan song.
Right.
Well, not the end of their career. The end of their hits before they started the oldies tours.
Yeah. There's still probably a version
for Las Vegas.
There's still a version.
Yeah, Branson.
I mean, just like
love it.
Just like every other band, there's a version of this band going around somewhere, and maybe two of them. Who knows? But it's
probably not two of this one. But
is that what I'm going to do? Will I retire to Branson? Will that be my?
You
thing?
might be. You may.
Hey, I'll take tickets.
Yeah.
Talbot can tune the guitar, and
Matt will be there too.
Well, Matt will be the spectator. Yeah. Dooley, if you're listening, we're talking about shit about you. So.
No, he knows more about Branson than any of us. He's been there a ton of times.
Damn near the de facto.
I've never been even close to Branson. So anyway,
I watched Ozark.
Well, there you go. That's
being that, I really don't want to live there. Though.
I want to go.
No shit.
All right.
So the next song is an absolutely forgettable song, but
it's
sung by Johnny Fontaine, Mr. Al Martino.
Great name.
If you are a fan of The Godfather, and if you're not, shame on you for not having any taste in movies. Al Martino plays Johnny Fontaine, of course, in the opening montage of the wedding. Everybody, when he shows up, all the girls go screaming, and he that's him actually singing. Yes,
I like Godfather too.
that's a wonderful movie too, and he's in that one
That's
too.
my favorite.
So,
All right.
both
I've
wonderful
never
stuff.
seen any of the Godfather movies.
You're a fucking heathen.
Sorry.
Complete fucking heathen.
I'm going to be one of those guys that I have not watched the Godfather.
You're a fucking heathen, dude. I
Well,
don't.
I'll watch it. I like those kind of movies. I just never watched it. Never had a chance. Never thought about it.
I've read the book about 12 times. I've seen the movie.
They're long. You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Yeah,
really
is your attention
block-
span long enough?
I
to
like
watch?
Scarface.
Yeah.
I like
Quite a bit of
Scarface.
time.
I like Scarface. And Al Pacino's in.
And that's inferior to this.
All right, so anyway.
Anyway, so next song, Mr.
But that's one of those old school. I mean, that's our parents type music right there. That song.
That's actually our grandparents type music.
Yeah, grandparents type music. There we go.
Yeah, I mean that's because he was.
And I'm surprised this is on that list. I really do. It's kind
Oh,
of.
I'm not.
You can almost waltz to it. You can,
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, you're surprised on the list, and I would have been, except for the fact, I read these lists a lot. But, these were more the norm than you expected in the 60s.
That's
When
true.
you look at,
They're standards.
They're
They're
why
called
this
standards.
week is
I
such
mean,
a seminal week in the, in music history.
well, today he would be considered a singer-songwriter.
He's not a
They
song.
play the-
He's
they
not a
play this
songwriter.
shit
No,
all the time
he's a crooner like Tony Bennett,
Right.
like Vic Damone.
Right.
All
Either
of
Rat
these
Pack people,
all
all
these
that.
Italians.
forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah.
Forget about it. It's fucking a Vic Damone here.
Let's go on, or somebody's gonna get killed.
Somebody's gonna get whacked.
Okay, the next one.
Ooh. Okay, can I bring this one in?
Please.
"Come to My Sunshine" by Harper's Bazaar. Florida should have paid these people for using it for a commercial, like the "Welcome to Florida."
Harper's Bazaar. It sounds like a place you'd go shopping. Like
It is.
Well, it is. Yeah.
But the thing is, this song is like all about sunshine and this, and it's so freaking pop. I mean, it makes you want to choke. It's like
It's-
cotton candy bullshit. And it is. Florida should have used that as their welcome song. I mean, it's, oh God. And yeah.
And they may have. We don't know. We were not quite to yet.
But it-
they had Anita Bryant. They didn't need those guys.
Got orange juice, Nita Bryant.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
Well, and of
We don't want
course,
to get into that.
of course, the other worthless little tidbit about this, Harper Bazaar also recorded a version of 59th Street Bridge song, the Simon and Garfunkel song. So they were feeling groovy, but not as groovy as Simon and Garfunkel.
Right.
So
But yeah, this song is very commercial sounding. So anyway.
number 36 as well. Go ahead, Dennis.
No, Sound of Love by the Five Americans.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, I
Sound
know.
of Love and Sound of My Love.
My Love.
Yeah,
Those are
What
two
is
different
My Love?
sounds, probably. I
I
don't
would
know.
say, dude, we don't want that shit on YouTube. But your love.
It's more of a grunting.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No shit.
As caveman sounds, No, Sound of Love by the Five Americans.
Next,
Wow.
Yeah, this is
actually,
going.
the next song we're going to let Rod introduce because I want him to actually.
Are they Americans or
sing-
Americans?
Number 36, Rod, would you please be kind enough?
He's gonna put on his
number
glasses.
35, actually, would you be kind enough to sing the opening refrain of that?
Oh, wow. Girl, you'll be a woman soon.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we'll get this. See if they'll catch that on.
Girl,
Quentin Tarantino loves this
you'll
song.
be a woman.
This is in fact
soon.
every Jewish woman's favorite singer. That's male because Babs, of course, is the favorite female singer.
Right.
But and he didn't bring her flowers yet. But
Yeah.
this is Mr. Neil Diamond.
He will.
Yeah.
He will, yeah.
He
But,
will eventually bring her some flowers.
Oh yeah.
But no, I
Kosher
mean
flowers.
Neil wrote a ton of great hits, and this is a good song. And like I said, if you've ever seen
enjoyed the hell
any,
out of the
if
song.
you've
Did he
seen
actually write that song?
I don't know. I
It
can't.
sounds like
I can't tell you that, but
something like
Does he
Engelbert.
write songs even? Hell.
I don't know. He might be like Elvis, never wrote a fucking song in his life. But
That's not even his real name, is it? It's not Neil Diamond, is
Oh,
it?
I'm sure it's like. Yeah,
I'm sure. It's probably like
Mr. and Mrs. Diamond.
Fred Johnson. It just doesn't ring.
Ron Jeremy. Save the hedgehog. Yeah. Save the hedgehog.
Ring. He's like going. They said it's like it's Fred Johnson, and he goes. That song doesn't. That name doesn't ring. Ring Diamond. Neil Diamond. That's your name.
There's probably some truth to that shit.
I'm telling you. But anyway, Neil Diamond, the most, the person that we love to sing along with most, and then add words to his songs.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, a great tune though. It is a good song.
It is, and God bless Quentin Tarantino for.
Oh yeah, who plays guitar on that? Does anybody? You guys know?
I'm sure it was.
That is a really iconic.
I would say it was probably.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
If I had to guess and I had to bet money on it, I would say it was the Wrecking Crew
out of California.
The Wrecking Crew probably, because most of these tunes were
definitely
played
have that surf sound to it,
and it could be probably Tommy Tedesco.
Could be.
If I have to,
nice, good guess.
I'm gonna
He may be completely wrong, but it's an educated guess.
It is a very educated.
Well, we were talking about Italians earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna have more on it coming up too.
Is that his real name, Tommy Tedesco?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
nobody makes that shit up, dude.
No, his son's named Tedesco too.
Oh, good.
That's who we interviewed on the Ages of Rock podcast. Check it out, agesrock.com.
Number 34. Yeah, exactly. Which is
and the thing is, this fucking show is on agesofrock.com, so it doesn't really matter.
We are a subset of agesofrock.com, exactly.
And they hate us. I mean, they're hating it because.
Are they?
No. I'm just
there's no haters in
we're
podcasting.
We are a lot more talented.
Well, there's that.
And we have a lot of stuff we talk about we think are facts, but we can't back it.
We make half this shit up.
Podcasters are some of the nicest people I've ever met.
They are.
Some of my best friends are podcasters.
Well, okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, you're right. Wink, wink. The problem is when we start talking political stuff.
Are we doing a podcast right now?
We are doing a podcast right now.
Yes.
But it won't go out for a couple weeks.
See, I've never done this before.
This is called The Chart Show.
So you see that now that our podcast is basically a conversation that we record, kind of like Watergate,
right?
And then we just send it out.
The only difference is nobody's going to take 17 minutes out of the middle because they'll just delete the whole fucking thing.
I think it's interesting. Well, my nickname as a kid was Pod. So
really,
I'm really familiar.
So you're
with
casting your voice.
Was your
really strange?
So was your first name Try?
No, that didn't happen till later. Actually,
there was some girl in high school that called him Tripod.
She called me 3 times.
Oh, good God!
Oh my God! This is off the rails, but you know what? This is what the show's all about.
Next song, number 34. Is by a guy named Oscar Tony Jr. I was not familiar with him. The song I'm very familiar with because...
Did you know his dad? Oscar Tony?
No.
I didn't either. I just
know.
He's a junior.
Some people...
I know that guy.
Oscar.
Yeah. He used to run numbers. So
sounds like a bookie.
Now this is a song...
You got to get with Oscar
Now this
Tony.
song was the one that started out as a talker, right?
Yeah, it's a talking... It's kind of like a...
Teddy bear kind of started.
Throw back to the 50s
storytelling
songs.
We're going to tell a story.
Well, and since this is an R&B song, kind of like a Bobby Womack song or an Isaac Hayes song where they talk for about 6 minutes before you get to the music.
Is this the one that was kind of a Latino sound?
No. It's the one that kind of was like he was just telling a story.
But what about a car crash?
No.
Okay.
But you mentioned the car crash because you said it's more like a talkie.
But this song is For Your Precious Love, first done by the outstandingly wonderful talent, the Iceman, Jerry Butler, and the Impressions with a man who's in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, deservedly so, Curtis Mayfield. So the song is a good song.
He's complaining though.
Yeah, well,
like if the other guys were doing it, they'd be like trying to get your pants off. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
yo woman.
That's all of our complaints.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, "You looking nice."
Well, see, it's probably put at the front of the song. It should have been towards the end.
Chicka-wow, yeah, baby.
He
should have let Curtis play some guitar first.
Exactly.
But this guy's bitching. I think this song starts out. He's bitching. It's like,
loosen things up a bit.
You've been cheating. I don't remember.
You've been cheating. You've been lying.
Absolutely.
All right.
So so the next one.
So that stuff was going
one
on
of
back
two
then
songs
too.
that he has on the chart this week.
It is one of two songs you have on the chart this week. The next song is by the Four Seasons, and it's another one of those like the 1980s song "Come On Eileen."
Which you can't say without me laughing.
This is "Come On Marianne." I don't know where they're
This
going.
is Eileen's grandma.
How Eileen got here.
or at least how the whole affair started. Anyway,
Right?
she was impressed.
I'm sorry. I just cannot hear that said without just dying laughing.
We
I'm
are
sorry.
schoolboys at heart. So we are schoolboys at heart, no doubt about it. But
Eileen's grandma.
it's near the end of the Four Seasons string of pop hits that started I don't know 62 or whatever, where they had a shitload of songs in a row.
So this would be like the fall, kind of the
So
fall.
let me ask you.
before
So let me ask you a
season.
quick.
Exactly.
Like that.
Damn near winter time.
All right, so
boys.
not to,
It's getting winter, getting cold, boys.
all right, so not to get ahead of
Time
ourselves.
to move to Vegas.
Well, don't get on the other song.
No, but
yet.
I'm saying the next song that he does is Frankie Valli. So was he
it's
doing,
his first solo song.
So he was doing solos.
He was doing both.
All right, we'll get
Yeah,
there.
but
we'll get there
see,
when it
Bob
is.
Gaudio, who was one of the members of the Four Seasons,
Sure.
at that point wanted. If you guys watched the movie The Jersey Boys,
Right.
he wanted to step out and only do songwriting. He was tired of touring, all that
Gotcha.
stuff like that. So he and Bob Crew wrote this song.
I've seen Jersey Girl.
Gotcha.
Jersey Boys is better. I can
Jersey
She
assure
didn't
you.
have J-Lo in it.
Yeah, but J Lo couldn't act her way out of a fucking
I
paper
know.
bag. So
All right.
anyway,
So the next song, what is it? Number what? I don't have that.
32.
32. When You're Young and in Love by the Marvelettes. We had a long discussion about this actually while we were listening to it. And,
Yeah. This was definitely at the end of the Marvelettes.
Right.
There was no more Mr. Postman. He quit delivering that shit. He quit delivering hits for them. That's for damn sure. It's
It's another one of those girls. Like I said, it's one of the. It's almost like you see in the 90s with the boy bands. It was all these girls bands that were formed at that point, white and black, doesn't matter, and they were just trying to make what they could.
any song we could put in front of them. Good songs, bad songs.
Don't matter. Just throw it out there and let's see what people.
Tough way to make a living.
It is a tough.
And-
Can you imagine going out and trying to play those songs every night when you're not really, you don't believe in them and you're not.
Well, but you're
you
the
know
fun-
they're not really that good.
and you're the
And
Funk Brothers, so
You mean like Bon Jovi? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're
that was
poor guy.
a joke.
You're playing them. You're playing them every night, but you're the Funk Brothers, so you're some of the most talented musicians in the world,
Exactly.
and you have to play this shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to.
But that's what you do.
Booze.
Well, it's the same. Well, they
Wonder
were,
why all the rock stars are killing themselves. Well,
but they were professionals. They were session musicians that
Right.
did what they got paid for. But the next song, so we're going to move on to this.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
The next one is one that Dennis absolutely loves. I enjoy the
do
song.
too.
I like the group. Dennis, please tell us who is number 31.
Up and Away by the Fifth Dimension. Of course, Marilyn McCoo, and
This song makes me smile.
it does. It's very happy. It reminds me. For some reason, I'm thinking not just ABC, but I think Channel 7 at one time used it as one
For
of
their
their
opening, for like
promos
news.
for the news.
That's what
or-
they should do for the news now.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
shit.
happy. It's like
my beautiful.
it's all this kind of.
Would you like to ride?
Come on, everybody.
It's like happy. It's
I do like
it's
your idea about montage of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know that would just be.
Of course, Rodney had this montage. He's like, you could make a YouTube video and put this thing with all these like balloons hitting power lines. Which it would be
Now
funny.
you
I
guys
mean,
are
it'd
making
be
me
funny.
sound like some kind
No, but it would be funny.
Sadist.
Sociopath? Yes.
Actually, I would watch it. I'd probably put it together for you, and it would just laugh my ass off the whole time. But no, this song was, and I remember vividly, Channel 7, which was an ABC station when I was a kid, used this at some point during their newscast. I don't remember if it was for the weather. I don't. Maybe Marcia is one that. Well, Marcia she wasn't Channel 7.
Might have been the weather.
But
It
anyway,
was Channel 14.
was it
Marcia
four?
Yaki.
Okay, so it was. So
14,
she wouldn't have been. So it was Channel 7. I know for a fact, but somehow them or ABC picked up on that song, and I always. It's one of those. Well, it's a time machine. When I hear this song, I think about being young and TV and Channel 7,
Watching
ABC,
the
I don't know.
news.
I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
causes that, but it is. So,
Well, that's
and it's a great song, and you can't. It's like the old Steve Martin joke, about the banjo. It's like.
Can't play a sad song on a banjo.
Every president should have one. It's like, hey, gets off the plane, like, gloom, destruction, and dun dun. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good.
I got the COVID. And we're down.
well.
So anyway.
Kind of like Hee-Haw, gloom, despair,
Yeah,
and agony on me.
And you're just
Whoa!
laughing your ass off. So.
Exactly.
But no, anyway, it's a great tune, and those guys had a great stream of hits, The Fifth Dimension, and good deal. All right.
Absolutely. What's next, Mr. Talbot?
Society's Child by Janis Ian.
Janis Ian, who, as we discussed, had that fantastic song 17.
And this song
at
here,
17 in
I
the
just don't care much for it, but you got some
it's
background.
Yeah, so she wrote this when she was like 13 or 14 years old, and it's about a young girl bringing her. It's an interracial song, as it points out in Wikipedia. 6 years later, Stories had brother Louis. Louis,
Right,
Louis.
and we brought that up when we just mentioned this.
And so it's and it wasn't a big deal. It hit number 1. This song made it to number 9, and it was controversial because it's a white girl bringing her black boyfriend home, and her mother berating her and berating him, and so
Right. And there was a lot of social tension at that time too.
Well,
so
But she wrote this at 13.
Yeah, she wrote it at 13.
she did a lot of stuff when she was young.
Yeah.
So do you think it was something that she felt, or you think it was something that she saw happening and maybe in her family or friends or something like that?
I don't know. Either way, it's a powerful
She
message
wrote a
for a
lot
kid
of-
that age to write.
Right, and she wrote a lot of deep songs,
But
like
she went
17.
over her stuff was so 17. She wrote that
Right.
Very angst.
and she
Angst
wrote that
written,
very young.
It was
Right?
very well.
Yeah.
It was very it's written from the inside. It
I
wasn't.
love
It
that
wasn't.
song,
It wasn't a
really.
bunch of bullshit. It wasn't. It's like, it's 17. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
No,
it's
not.
As we've heard before, you guys had to live that stuff. You
Right.
didn't just make that up.
So
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
How does a person write a song like that if you haven't either experienced it personally or been
or witnessed it. Yeah.
very close to that,
Yeah.
your family or something like that? Like I said, you just don't pull shit like that out of a hat like a rap.
And by the way,
I mean,
when this song was on the chart, this was the first week it was on the chart, so it made it up to number 9. You figure that 2.5 months earlier, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, and then in June 6th of this same month of 68 next year. Next year 68. So I'm sorry, I'm a year off. So you're a year away from Martin Luther King assassination
Right.
and Bobby Kennedy assassination. So 67 was
There's
still
a lot of civil unrest.
A lot of-
lot
You
of-
got Vietnam going on.
a lot of
Absolutely.
dark time at that.
So,
Civil rights movement going on.
Yeah, exactly. People think, oh, this is just such a terrible time in our country. Actually, this is not a bad time in our country at all.
It just shows our country's growing again.
Yeah.
We got little growing pains. Is what
Exactly.
that is.
Absolutely. That's
And
a great
It
point.
is a change, and it's a little bit of different. I think, and you know what? I don't. And if we're going to talk about that real quick, I'm just going to say something
Of
just off
course.
the cuff. Is I think that the COVID thing this in 2020, and everybody sitting at home, twiddling their thumbs, not working or quarantined and all that shit.
Read
and
a book.
And then
Too much time on their hands. Exactly.
and the part
Read some
is
fucking history.
Not only are you sitting alone, not and stagnant, then you've also got the internet where you can sit there and just go out and just berate and do what you want. I think
Anonymity.
it's what I'm saying, and do it. And nobody gives a crap. So I think like I said, people are like, oh my god, I can't believe how everybody's getting all up.
Well, you're
the
not
upheaval is not that bad. It's not really that bad. It's the fact of that circumstances have made it mean that bad. You know what
Well,
I'm
you're not
saying?
going to find a lot of positivity on the internet.
No, it's not
No.
going to be.
That seems to me
It doesn't sell.
That's more of a
People,
platform.
you know
for,
what? People that are
pissing and
happy.
moaning.
to spread their hate messages,
Well,
and
Agreed.
it's just like the views of a few radicals, you know.
Agreed.
And
people-
I don't think you're going to find anything you're really looking for on there.
Well, and people that are happy, maybe post some pictures of their kids, their food, whatever, and they get off the internet and they go spend time with their kids and stuff
Right.
like that. The people that are pissed
a
off,
lot of pictures of food. but not as much anymore.
But the people that are
people quit posting
well,
food.
because
They quit going to restaurants.
We're too close. We're too close to the election. So the people who
to the election
No,
to
'cause-
post pictures of food.
no, because
Get some Cheetos. We don't-
No, I'll guarantee you this. I don't post as many pictures either anymore because the thing is, I try to stay away from Facebook as much as I can because it just makes me madder than hell, and I'm just tired of it. And I post pictures on there. I'll maybe just see if I get any likes or somebody comments
imagine-
on that. But to just sit there and go through Facebook, other people's posts.
Imagine if
I get
these
mad.
people had Facebook
Right.
in 1967. What would they be posting? What would be on Facebook?
Oh, Vietnam would be,
Oh my
you know.
God, it'd be Nixon's a.
No, Tricky. No, it was still Lyndon
It was
Johnson.
Lyndon
That would be
Johnson,
Johnson.
right?
That'd be Johnson.
Tricky wasn't really, you
Say
know.
70.
He was still in there.
No, he got elected in '68, but I'm saying that.
Well, but
you
he
know,
was in politics at that time.
No, he was out. He was out of
He
politics.
wasn't a senator or anything.
No. He ran for governor and didn't win in '62, I think, in California. Then he just kind of went low. And at this point, all he was doing was quietly fundraising and building up his support amongst the Republicans to show out in '68. So it's
And eating do-si-dos.
and those are those, exactly.
But where I'm getting to, yeah.
But I mean,
Let's get back
but
to
this song,
Right.
is a great point. Then all the things you guys discussed here, it is something. The impact of music and
What's society's child?
society's child.
And it is, and society is
that a
whatever
band?
it is. This no.
That'd be a great name for a
It
band.
really would
Okay,
be.
we're
Thank
gonna.
you, we're society's
I
child.
want to. We at this point now. At this point, we are going to copyright this by this show,
Oh.
so you can't have this no more.
What?
So, we're society's child.
Oh, there you go. He's
Yeah.
he's,
Oh, you
he's
did.
claiming
I
it.
just copyrighted.
Oh, good.
Dracor presents.
It's
Society's
child.
This is a poor man's copyright right here.
Oh, good.
It's going to be on the internet. So you know what? If it's on the internet, it's true.
as
Wait a second.
Everything.
Seriously, if it's on the internet, it's true.
Yeah. I've heard that, but I don't
For somebody it
Necessarily.
is, yeah.
subscribe to that.
Well,
Anyway, so
I believe it.
the next song, we'll go ahead and jump up here.
All right.
Is
Tramp.
Tramp. It's a song by Otis Redding and Carla Thomas. I was never a big fan of Carla Thomas. I love Stax music, which
I love Otis Redding.
I love Otis Redding.
Me too.
This was Otis's last year of life. As we'll discuss a little bit later, Otis made his outside of the soul music Chitlin Circuit debut at the Monterey Pop Festival and just blew the hell out of everybody.
Right.
Out of the water. Like, oh my God, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Right.
And he'd been doing it for a while, too, so he came
Exactly.
out as a seasoned performer out there and just blew everybody's socks off.
Absolutely. And he was backed by Booker T and the MGs and the Memphis Horns.
Not a bad band there.
Fantastic, absolutely. But and unfortunately, at the end of this year, he died in a plane crash. He wasn't part of the 27 Club. He was still about a month away from his 27th birthday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So
So
I actually have I've got an album somewhere. It's not in very good shape, but it's it's Otis Redding on one side and Hendrix on the other from Monterey.
yeah, that'd be a fantastic
And,
album.
it's unplayable now because I played the shit out of it. But
Sure.
it is a great album.
And by the way, Carla Thomas's father was Rufus Thomas, a famous Memphis DJ and a star of the documentary Watt Stax from 1972, where he wore pink shorts, a pink jacket. He was just, as he always said in his concerts, he'd come out and say, wait a minute, I gotta ask y'all a question. Ain't I clean? And he
No,
was.
you're pink.
He was. So, but, and I'll just go ahead and jump up to number 28 because this is Ray Charles, and this is Ray's country era. Here we go again, great country song.
Right.
And Ray does a fantastic
He was a
job.
great country artist.
Absolutely.
And one note on
Country
this.
swing. Man, he could swing.
Oh, absolutely.
And one note on this, on the playlist that I put together, this is the one song, actually I think it was two, but this is one song that I could not get the original to because I guess Ray Charles is not affiliated with Spotify, but I guess Norah Jones is. So there is a Norah Jones.
I have the record, actually.
Oh, do you?
Oh, the
Anyway.
Norah Jones.
No, the Ray
Oh,
Charles.
so
Ray
anyway,
Charles,
so
fantastic.
the one that's on the
Ray Goes
playlist
Country or
is a
whatever.
Ray. is a Ray Charles, Norah Jones combined.
Yeah,
kind
do
of
it,
thing.
and it's fantastic.
And it's a great sound song.
She's amazing,
right? And it gives you an opportunity to hear the song, but it's not the actual version that was on the charts that week. I just can't get it through Spotify. So there you go.
Fantastic. Please, Dennis, do the next one because I know you like the song. I love the song.
Oh, this song here, what a horrible song. Anyway, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
Oh man, go ahead, Dennis.
Shit, great song. I mean, you can't. I mean,
uplifting.
There's no mountain high enough.
No.
Well, and unlike
none.
Ain't no river.
Unlike the melodramatic song that Diana Ross released when she officially left the Supremes, no wind, no rain, all that bullshit like that. This is
Guaranteed to not spark anything on YouTube for that one.
Oh, you're talking about the algorithmic
algorithmic
detection.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Ain't no mountain
Copyrighted
high,
material.
Ain't no valley low. Yeah, I can't say
I
that.
have friends of mine that actually had that happen when they played live. They actually got caught on 5 songs.
Yeah.
And it was so close.
Look,
But guess what? This ain't happening
Unless
today.
there's cows pissing on a tin roof, nobody's going to catch me singing in an algorithm. And if y'all don't like it, stay tuned. You'll hear more of it.
But no, what a great song though. I mean, and this is a
Great video.
Video, and the thing is, it's this song continually.
They made videos back then?
It was a TV show where they recorded it for a TV show.
Right, okay.
And she was a lovely, lovely girl. Man, she was beautiful. She died of brain cancer not long after this.
But it's one of those songs that continually stays around. It's remade, and it's brought up and put in commercials and this and that. I mean, everybody knows the song. There's nobody that doesn't know the song.
Off the top of my head, I don't know if they actually wrote it, but since Marvin and Tammy, most of their songs they recorded was by them. This may very well be, like all their other songs, an Ashford and Simpson song.
Right.
Because that's a lot of the songs that Marvin and Tammy made big hits were Ashford and Simpson songs.
It does sound like an Ashford and Simpson song.
But,
really.
Right.
Even though it's been,
the
song continues to this day to be a staple. I mean, there's a commercial somewhere that's using it, or somebody's using it, or you hear it in some kind of context.
As long as they don't use the fucking Macarena, I don't care. Yeah, Macarena.
Right. So the next one is Petula Clark. Don't sleep in the subway. There's a lot of reasons.
By the winos.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons not to sleep in the subway. Well, you could die, number one. And
you don't want to touch that center rail.
You don't want to touch that center rail.
Exactly.
There's all kinds of freaks on the subway. Just don't. You don't even want to ride the subway.
And don't piss on the.
And don't sleep
rail.
in the subway. So,
exactly.
And Petula Clark was one of those people. This was getting. I mean, late '60s or past '70s. You never heard anything from Petula Clark at that point, right?
Well, other than the oldies tours.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, other oldies tours. But she was one of those people that were my parents.
What was her big hit? She had a big.
Oh,
Downtown.
Yeah,
Downtown.
So it's one of those people that my parents listened to, and that was getting phased out at this point because of what the new coming in. So.
Right. Yeah. This is definitely one of those mid '60s sounds that's about to be flushed.
Right. But she had a ton of hits and was very, very popular. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, next.
The next song is by John Sebastian's "Lovin' Spoonful." Can't say that I had ever really heard this song.
Me either.
Can't say that I really give a shit if I ever hear it again.
Don't care.
It's called 6 O'Clock.
Yeah, I'm not a big
all
fan.
I can say is
it was on the chart.
Next.
Bring out the hook.
Exactly.
All right. Johnny Rivers is next.
Johnny Rivers.
Yeah. Johnny Rivers, John Casta, whatever.
Another cool rock and roll name.
Yeah.
And
Johnny.
Hey, I'm Johnny Rivers.
What's your
out
name?
my new single. It's called.
My name's George.
Castanoletta, whatever.
He's like,
no, because he's Italian. He's
Where do you live? I live in Troy. River, Johnny Rivers. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd be one of those guys. I'm gonna be like an A&R guy. Like,
Troy River. Now, only you would get that reference.
Ron Bennett?
And you go, well, I just got it because
I got Troy. Yeah,
right.
Oh, because he's fun.
Yeah,
you'd be like Ronnie Bennett coming in. It's like, man, Ronnie Bennett just don't rhyme. What we gonna do? Bennett. We could do
2 minute Bennett.
Shoes.
Yeah,
we got shoes.
That won't get you a lot of dates.
Uggs. We're gonna go. You wearing Uggs, and you got Terry Ugg.
Ugg.
We're gonna call you Terry Ugg.
You got a face for radio, son. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Get over here.
So the song "Tracks of My Tears" is a was written by Smokey Robinson, first recorded by Smokey and the Miracles.
And been re-recorded how many times?
Several times. Well, because Linda Ronstadt also did a shitty version. Can't stand Linda Ronstadt remix. Fucking can't stand them.
I don't know.
But Smokey's version is fantastic.
Yeah, that's the one everybody knows that one.
Yeah. But
more than they do.
For as good of a singer Linda Ronstadt is, she should have stayed away from remakes. God, it's just terrible.
Well, she should have stayed away from Jerry Brown, but that's another conversation.
He might have had something rocking that,
I wish I'd have known her back then. I would.
Oh, yeah.
I would have written songs for her.
Yeah.
Before she got fat.
By the way,
I know. Sorry.
okay.
All right.
So,
it happens. It happened to me.
You wrote songs before you...
I got fat.
Oh my goodness.
Nah. So, Jerry Brown tainted her anyway. I don't want to do with her anyway. Sorry, I went there. All right, where are we at now?
We all are, dude. So we are up to the Tremolos.
Oh, the Tremolos.
At
I got one of them on a guitar.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
At number 23, Here Comes My Baby. So this is another like this, and again, this is one of the reasons I like, I wanted the concept of this show in general is because it really is a snapshot in music time. It's like, what the hell? Because the music that we love from that era ain't this.
No, I bet
not.
The next year he wrote a song called "There Goes My Baby" because
there goes my career.
there goes everything.
There goes now.
Wish I wrote this.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. Well, they're hanging on to something that they don't, that's all they know.
An idea.
Yeah.
Was it an idea? They were hanging on to an idea.
Of course, There Goes My Baby is a wonderful Lieber and Stoller song
Right.
by the Drifters. There goes my baby.
Yeah.
Once again, safe from the algorithm.
Exactly. Well, and the next one I'm going to sing just because...
Oh, no! Okay, I'm going to hold my ears. Go ahead.
The next one I'm going to sing because first recorded by Cilla Black. Who
Probably a lot better.
No. It's just that she recorded it for the movie.
How do you spell that?
Cilla, C-I-L-L-A.
Oh, okay.
She
Spelling bee champ here.
yeah. Oh fuck yeah! It's a. So, what's it all about, Alfie? So this is Alfie by Dionne Warwick. Obviously a Backrack and David song, which she was definitely their muse throughout the '60s.
Once again, being that it's Dionne Warwick, too bad she didn't have the Psychic Friends Network hooked up with her at that point and say, "Don't do that song."
No, she knows. It's a great song. It's actually one of Backrack's favorite songs, actually. So it's.
I don't know. I'm just. It was a good place to put
I
a
love
joke.
Burt Bacharach.
So.
Oh, I do too.
I like Burt Bacharach.
Huge Bacharach.
No, I like.
Amazing.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a songwriter.
By the way, the chart show is a spin-off of a blog that I started and I've recruited first Dennis, and now I'm going to try to wrangle Rod into it should he ever want to, and that's the best 3,000 songs I've heard so far, which I post on Facebook. It's about the only reason I give a shit about Facebook at this point.
I've been kind of lax too. I need to get back on that again.
I'm up to about 127 songs, so I got a few
down.
more to go, but this is not a race. It's just a repository.
Yeah.
So,
I just make fun of Dionne Warwick because of the
mustache.
Psychic Friends
Network. It's like one.
What's weird is she already knew that you were going to make fun of her right
I
now.
know. That's what I'm saying. She's like, I'm ready for this.
She's already been mad about it and then got over it. And that's the great thing about being psychic.
I wish I was psychic.
You don't have stress.
All right. I love this next group. Go for it.
Okay,
you go for it.
Only because he doesn't know how to pronounce the name. This is Creek Alley by the Mamas and the Papas.
Creek Alley.
Creek Alley.
It's got a creek.
Which is a place like in Jamaica or some damn thing where they all went and recorded music.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything
Anyway,
about
the Mamas
that.
and the Papas. I am a huge fan of those people.
Great.
I mean, Mama Cass
Quartet.
Elliott was, I will put her in the Karen Carpenter kind of thing. The thing was, of course, no, I won't make this joke.
She should have given Karen the hip sandwich.
You don't want to put those two in the same room.
You actually got the joke before I said it.
I actually
And I really hate that because I tell you what, Cass Elliott's family has been, she died of a heart attack. Now, she was eating at the time, and she did have she was eating a ham sandwich. Of course, that was the big thing, that she died of a ham sandwich, choked on a ham sandwich.
she did actually choke on one?
No, she had a heart attack.
Oh.
But she was eating at the time, and of course there was some. They think, of course, at first they thought she choked on a ham sandwich, but she had major heart problems.
Had she given that sandwich to Karen? Karen, like 2 lives saved at one time.
So yeah, I said, I'm just laughing my ass off. I didn't even tell the joke. Thank you, Joe, for telling my joke.
Karen could have sang a song about the ham sandwich.
Dionne Warwick knew that you were.
Dionne Warwick, she knew the goddamn ham sandwich was coming.
No, she knew you were going to tell that joke. I didn't even have to do it. You told it for me.
She probably laughed about it like 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I am, like I said, I put Cass Elliot up there with Karen Carpenter, because if you ever listen to her singing, and not just with the Mamas and the Papas, Cass Elliot did a lot of stuff by herself.
Well, she was fantastic. Yeah.
She was a fantastic singer, and she reminds me of a lady that we had that sang here years ago. Her name was Sherry Crawford.
Here being Evansville.
Yeah, and she had her same
Indiana.
Right.
There you go. Exactly.
But no, Rod played with her, and she played in Man's Hair. She was extreme. She was a full figured lady, just like Mama Cass was.
Would you say she was Rubenesque?
But she had a great, powerful voice, and the funniest person you ever meet. I mean,
very funny.
And she was roommates with Cheryl Ladd.
Yes, she was back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. So, Ron and I, real funny story, real quick. We went to pick up some microphones from her one time at her house.
And lights. We rented some lights.
And some microphones, and I wasn't even in the band at the time. I was just kind of helping out. And he's like, Sherry, she's a great singer, and she used to be roommates with Cheryl Ladd, and I'm like, okay. We got to her house. I'm like,
how soon can we get there?
Whoa. It's like, but I tell you what though, and even in concert, she had this comedic talent too.
Oh, she was a pro.
She was she needed to be on stage, and that's where she shined.
Yeah, she shined for sure.
And it was one of those things where anything that came up, she belted out a song, and then in between songs,
respect. Somebody that's covered. I've heard cover Respect. Oh my gosh, man!
But then in between, and then she's as foul mouthed as any sailor that I probably ever met.
She'd make a sailor blush.
But no, she was a great lady, and so anyway, she was Evansville, Indiana's Cass Elliot at that point. So anyway,
right on. Well, number 20 is actually a song that's kind of ties together with exactly what this show is.
Yeah. Because
it's Scott McKenzie's San Francisco.
It was just there in February.
Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair, because as I said, the Summer of Love officially, weather-wise, kicked off, or calendar-wise, kicked off 4 days after this chart came out. It was already underway. Golden Gate Park, Grateful Dead.
What a great song. This song almost kind of defines that era.
It does, in fact. Yeah,
there's been so many movies about that period of time. And
absolutely.
I bet you this. How many soundtracks do you think this has been on?
Oh gosh!
I mean, if you think about it,
trivia question. I bet it's at least 10, maybe more than that. 20,
at least more. Because it's one of those ones that anything that has to do with the '60s and the flower power.
Oh yeah.
Or anything like that. That's going to be.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I know where.
Yeah, I know where I'm at. Yeah, there again. It's a time machine song that takes you back to a certain point in time. When you go into San Francisco, well, I went there last year. Wasn't like that.
Monterey Pop Festival was so iconic to me that I actually had to go to Monterey. I had to go there because of what I'd seen and heard about the Monterey Pop Festival.
Right.
And when you got there, what did you find?
It was one of the most miserable places I've ever been in my life.
Foggy?
It was, well, when I was looking at the amenities of the hotel, I booked a hotel in this place called Lover's Point. And I noticed that there wasn't any air conditioning in the rooms. And so I was a little concerned, so I called the hotel, and they told me, well, we're kind of known for our fog.
Kind of known.
Heat's not a problem out there. It's foggy
Yeah,
and
not in the
cold,
Monterey Bay,
and
no.
I've never been anywhere like that in my life. And to find out that it used to be a fishery for
Cannery, yeah, it was a cannery.
cannery, a huge. Ernest Hemingway wrote about
Exactly.
the stench of
Cannery Row.
Cannery Row, exactly. And so, but yeah, I couldn't wait to get to wine country once I was like, let's get the hell out of here.
Well, the Monterey Pop Festival actually took place at the county fairgrounds
Right.
that weekend as well.
But that's why I went there. I went there specifically
Right.
because of the Monterey Pop.
See, you went though. You went in the summertime when they had.
I went
the
September.
falls.
I was in the
See,
September.
I went there in February.
I wanted to see a whale or
2 years ago, and Monterey was really nice. We went on the pier, and it was beautiful. I mean, Monterey was beautiful, and I never got into where the fairgrounds was. I should have went.
And of course, one of the greatest stalker movie of all time was filmed.
I know what it is.
Tell us.
It is the one with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, exactly.
And play Misty for
Oh,
Play
yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that movie.
Now,
Absolutely.
Carmel was a lot better than.
Now, when he went to that festival, that
Or
wasn't Monterey
sorry,
Pop? That was a jazz fest.
Carmel.
Yeah, exactly. Carmel.
It was Carmel.
Carmel.
You're right.
Yeah,
it was Carmel.
Carmel's up in north of Indianapolis.
Right, but
Carmel
Carmel was
I'll
actually
go there.
Carmel by the Sea is down.
by the sea. Yeah,
Is right below
Monterey.
Monterey.
Yeah, that was a lot nicer.
That's
But
where
yeah,
the-
Monterey was foggy and gloomy, and it was like it reminded me like what if like old foggy London town,
right.
like the
Yeah.
Ripper was going to jump out.
Exactly.
The Ripper.
Exactly. So we'll come back to.
Okay,
Scott
sorry.
McKenzie and
We got
streets.
really.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
it's.
I know.
It's
It's good.
So next song. God, what is this?
Do it again, a little bit slower. By
That never happens.
Tommy
does it?
Two Stroke.
And they usually kind of a building, kind of a
Pump Chuck.
Chuck.
That's by Jan.
2-minute minute.
Oh, dude.
Bring it on.
No, it was by Jan and Robin. I'm sure Robin wasn't. Or no, is it John and Robin?
John and Robin.
John and Robin. Sorry, my glasses I couldn't see. But I'm sure Robin wasn't happy. John was.
Well, it's John and Robin and the in crowd, so I don't know what crowd they were in, but nobody was probably impressed.
Yeah, dude, just slow down, John.
Listen,
I wonder if that was kind of a funny thing when they did this song. It's like on.
It could have been like
Wink,
Christopher Robin.
That could
sure.
have been, yeah.
by the way, for those of you who are John and Robin fans,
Sorry.
yeah, we are sorry.
The 100-acre wood.
Next time we'll be a little slower.
No shit.
Brady.
Because if you try to give me that album, I'm going to damn sure try to get lost. So
Yeah.
the next song is a song.
Wow.
The next song is a song I think we should all sing the opening together with.
I don't remember how it started.
Ready?
What?
The New York mining disaster of 1941
Yeah.
by
Oh
the Bee
my
Gees.
gosh!
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The Bee Gees.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. In the event of something happening to me,
Whatever. Yeah.
there is something that I'd like you all to see. But my flashlight's dying and you can't see this naked picture anymore. Have you got a new battery, Mr. Jones?
For the people who made the word, I mean, they're
I
talking about.
don't know that song. I'm sorry.
You know what? The New York it was the New York mining disaster, 1941.
New York
By the
City?
New York mining disaster,
Are there
1941.
there's miners in New York City?
They
Well,
probably like every other
the water-
town, Newburgh. They
I mean,
mined the shit out of
You've
this
seen the
place.
second Die Hard movie. Hell
Right.
yeah, they were digging that tunnel under the city.
Well,
Oh yeah, but they weren't really miners. They were just digging a tunnel.
Right.
Yeah,
well, you know what though? They're staying alive in the 70s.
that's true.
So,
So
Bee
they must have made it good.
Segway.
Good
They weren't staying alive in the 80s. The 80s kind of
No.
not a lot of
But the next song is a song.
But you know what? And it's not a horrible song. It's just kind of.
It is kinda
it's
cool.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
It's
but
from The Wizard of Oz, and it's
the New York.
the Fifth Estate's
Oh.
take on.
You went on. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're still on the mining.
I'm still on the
disaster?
mining disaster. Like, it was-
We'll come back to it. No.
No, we're good.
So we'll So
Oh, now we're talking Wicked Witch.
Yeah, we're. See, he thought we were.
Oh, okay.
now you can sing.
So Oh,
Ding dong, the
The
wicked
witch is
witch, the wicked witch.
the witches.
Ding
I don't even know
dong,
that
the
song.
witch is
He's
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
So no shit, it's another remake on this chart. Ding
The
dong,
Fifth
Witch is
Estate,
Dead.
who
The
had
Fifth
no
Estate.
other, they couldn't write a song, so they basically redid the Ding Dong song.
Yeah, no shit. So
Sound like they had.
Gosh, that's got to be terrible. I mean,
It's like Rod.
I
You
can't
know what?
imagine having to play that song in front of a crowd.
It's like, dude. It's like. You know what? We've racked our brains for a
How did you
week.
muster up the gumption to walk out in front of people?
Well, here's the thing: is if you're going
Your
to
guitar
cover,
around your neck.
all right. So you're a
chicks
band.
dig us.
We're okay.
They're 7, but they dig us.
Okay, so Rod, we're in the band, the Fifth Estate, and we're going. We can't write a song for nothing. So let's
Can
cover
you at
a
least
song.
try to write a song?
No, let's
at least
cover a song. So what song do you think we should
there's only
cover?
one song I can think of.
What's that?
Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. The
You
one
know,
off of Wizard of
I
Oz.
think you
People
guys-
are going to love it. It's going to be the best song.
And we're not going to sound like the Munchkins.
No,
Oh my
now we'll sing
God.
much lower pitch.
You know, I think you got something here.
Yeah.
The Munchkins on LSD and lube.
Okay, so this was not a time machine. This was actually a what we call it, a mock-up or a reconstruction of the
Right.
crime that happened.
What was
Because
that?
they redid this.
What was wrong with people back then?
I mean, it's like going, really? Where was the producer going?
Somebody
Get that
had to,
shit
somebody
out of
had
here.
to-
We don't want that.
Somebody had to say something. I mean,
But
they had to throw like ridiculous
Okay.
amounts of money
But-
at somebody.
we were saying all this shit. What was this at? I don't have the number on here.
This is number 17.
Okay, number 17 on a top 40.
It was number 33 the week before.
It went
This
up.
fucker
So it went
was-
up in the charts.
This
Yeah.
fucker was flying up the charts.
The hell was going on in 1967?
I mean, 16 jumps. I mean, 16 spot
Maybe I
jump.
like the word
Well,
ding
it's almost
dong.
like a knee-jerk reaction to this, all the civil unrest and all this protest music and things that were coming out. It's
Right.
like, we're not going to
Well-
like any of that, but we'll buy this
But this song here
piece
to
of
me,
crap.
no, but this song to me is almost like one of those, and I'm being honest about it. You know, when we were kids, they always had the wacky tunes and this
Right.
and that and Dr.
Well,
Demento
yeah.
type stuff.
You had Mr. Jaws.
And then Mr. Jaws, and they went to number one. I mean, they were big tunes, but they didn't stay there very long. But they
Right.
were novelty songs. So was this a novelty song? I mean, I don't know enough about
About
it. to
any
even-
funny commentary or
No, I just think it was somebody said, "Oh, what the hell? Let's take this popular movie song and
Well, what a
a show tune. Let's take a show tune and
I
make
mean, I
it
would have like slowed it down a little bit
Yeah.
or something.
Ding, ding,
dong.
tong.
Pick a Halloween song.
Which is dead.
like that. What's that Liquid Metal channel?
Ding dong, which is dead.
Dead.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, we could have fun with that.
oh my God.
I'd be up for that, but that's. But
Okay.
no, this is let's get
New
off this.
remake. We're gonna
All right.
do this.
All right,
do
we're
your
gonna do
copyright
it.
thing.
We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
No, it's all free.
It's all
free.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna go from that to people who dressed up like Paul Revere and the Raiders
Because
they
guys-
are Paul Revere.
Paul
and the
Revere and the
Raiders.
Raiders
Hey,
featuring
you guys need a gimmick.
yeah, exactly, featuring Mark Lindsay as lead singer.
Yeah.
So
Him or me?
what's it gonna be?
What's it gonna
Talk
be?
about a raw. Those guys kind of sounded. They had that more rockin' sound,
Right,
They had the British sound.
like in the early
They were the
'70s
British,
almost. They were
kinda
kind of ahead of their time.
Well, they had that kind of that
Who?
kind of
Yeah, exactly. You
Right,
said
they were
mentioned
starting-
the early.
the
Yeah,
British rock.
they were starting to use the guitars better.
Exactly to bring in that gritty,
Right.
rocky.
So we
rockin'
make
sound,
fun of
you
a
know?
lot of things, but that's
We're
one
not
of the
making fun of
bands-
these dudes.
No, like I
Yeah.
said, they were the beginning of some of the British influence that we got on the British rock.
Absolutely.
Were they British?
No, they were actually American.
That's
Oh,
what I
they
thought
were?
they were.
I'm sorry.
As
They had the
You
British
don't have to
sound.
apologize for them being American.
Well, they're Paul Revere.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
sure.
they could use the British.
the British are
He
coming.
likes the British. No.
Yeah, speaking of gimmicks, of course, Paul Revere and the Raiders on the Revolutionary War, followed by Gary Puckett and the fucking Union Gap with these
Right.
guys wearing Union uniforms. So it was
Right.
very strange.
But they were, but they did
Whoa.
they did have a British sound though. You gotta give me that. Paul Revere and the Raiders had that British rock sound.
They probably had British amps. They might have had the high tones or something.
the high watts or high watts.
High watts.
Yeah. All right.
Now, the next song, number 15. First, let me just preface this by saying that I believe at this point, for those of you who are fans of the TV show The Office, Creed Bratton was, I believe, still in the band The Grassroots. because this is la 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 live for today.
Right.
Let's live for today. A really cool song.
Was
I
he in the
enjoy it.
Grassroots? Seriously?
He was definitely in the Grassroots. He
I
was
did
there
not
until
know
about
that.
68.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
But Rod and I know the guy who is the
Current
drummer and been there since what you said?
89. So
89. So he's
yeah.
been there for 90,
Yeah, Joe Daughtry.
30 years. Is that right? Yeah, 30 years.
yeah. So I
Joe
mean,
Daughtry. He's
really
from
cool
Newburgh,
guy. Cool
Indiana.
dude.
Real cool dude. Rod's actually played on stage with him.
Played a gig with him,
I drink a beer with him, or 2, or 3, or 6.
right?
that's not a
But
common
Rod's,
occurrence.
but Rod's played with him, and he's a hell of super nice guy.
He played a rock gig with me, and he
Yeah.
covered it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys
Very well.
where he plays at the Grassroots, and this is the way these bands do it now. Is he sits in Newburgh and they book a gig, and they send him a plane ticket. He jumps on a plane, he goes plays a gig, and he comes home.
Yep.
And they don't ever practice. They don't ever do anything.
I don't think they have any new songs.
No.
no, they're
But
just.
these guys are such good musicians anyway.
Well, it
just
is.
kinda-
I mean, they know they're seasoned musicians. And
But
they
you know,
just
when you
play.
go see those guys, they're not going to go. And this is off of our new album.
It's like no.
We'd like you to sit back and enjoy a 30-minute rendition of the.
Yeah, it's like this isn't gonna happen.
Oh my goodness.
You
yes.
usually when I hear that word, here's the song of our new album. It's time to take a piss.
Please.
I'm gonna go take a piss.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear it.
But so
All right.
we jump up to number 14.
Yeah,
Fantastic song title.
yeah, no shit.
7 Rooms of Gloom by the Four Tops. This is now the Four Tops were definitely not done with their career because they kept making hits into the 80s.
All right.
And it was one of the only groups to have never changed members. They lost members. They are now down to 1 member, and they have replacements
Right.
for that. But when they were all still alive, they were all still together as the same band, led by the fantastic singing of Levi Stubbs. And the song is
And that baby, I need your loving.
exactly.
Don't they? I mean, they're one of those bands that kind of went with the times, and as times changed, they went along.
They did progress. And by the way, that song you just sang there, which probably will get picked up for sounding good, is another Johnny Rivers remake because Johnny Rivers did nothing but remakes like Leonard Ronstadt, but his weren't quite as offensive. But that was a lot of his career,
Great song.
remaking R&B songs, doing little blue-eyed soul, as it were. But,
So, what was the last Four Tops song that really hit the charts? Do you know by chance, or without thinking about it, or? Just a question. I mean, I don't know why. You said they went up to the 80s. What was the last song?
I can't remember the song exactly, but I know that they had.
But it's one of those bands that kind of morphed as time went along. They just went, you know what, we can do this, and let's try this and do this. And,
Yeah, they actually kept sounding good. Well, again, they all have great voices, and
that's good.
But Dennis, actually, Rod, tell us about song number 13.
Song number 13, Lucky 13. Come On Down to My Boat by Every Mother's Son. Wow.
I know a band called Every Mother's Nightmare, but I've never heard of Every Mother's Son.
Come on down to my boat, baby.
Well, the thing is that when we listened to that song, that reminded me of another song that has "Come On Down to My Place."
Oh, the one, I'm in a boat.
But this one's in a boat, but it's a place. But I'm just like going. So they went, okay, well, you do this now. Come on down to my car, baby. They just went.
Yeah. Well, you could apply.
They could, it's like going, okay.
Come on down to my
grandma's,
shack, baby.
my grandma's, or
Right.
shack, or van by the river, or
Van.
Come on down.
That's
to my
that's
van
another
by
recurring
the
theme
river.
on these shows of ours. Is Dennis talking about the van down by the river?
Hey, your own
We're river town. We live.
We do live by the river.
We live and die by the
We're
river.
a mile from the river.
We
Not
fished-
even a mile.
We
We're
fished in a off the river yesterday.
We were at the river. We were
in the backwater. Yeah,
Actually, had my hands in the river.
Yeah.
and it's still
Which the fishes sucked yesterday, but that's okay.
Cold.
It was fun. We had a good time. Anyway,
But so it again exemplary of
yeah.
that
Come on
time
down to
frame.
my boat. Was that one of the first yacht rock songs?
I think
It
that
should be.
Could we call that the official
Add it to your yacht rock
first
list,
song
your yacht
of the,
rock list.
1967, the first yacht rock song,
Add it to your yacht rock list,
will.
and then people can go to Spotify
and then they'll pick it up and go.
and check out your spot, your list that
There
you
you go.
got.
Well, it's on
Spotify
there.
list.
Yeah, it's on
right
there.
on.
Yeah, it's already on there.
But
It's not on your yacht rock list.
No, it's
I
on
mean,
my
you say
yacht rock.
Yacht
It's on-
rock. It's
Yacht rock.
Yacht rock.
Yacht
rock.
Actually, Bill got he got called out for calling yacht rock some other kind of thing. It was like rack yacht or something like that.
Rack.
A guy
Sounds like Viking.
I don't know. He said yacht rock wrong, and of
Ragnar
course
rock.
a guy that listens to us, and he's a real good friend of ours, Bill Elam. He was we always want him to write our intros for our show, but he has to listen to it first, so he always writes an intro, and then we usually backtrack it and say, hey, this is where our show comes from. But anyway, he does it all the time. But anyway, yacht rock.
So number 12 is by Spanky and Our Gang.
Spanky.
Spanky being a female lead singer. Sunday will never be the same. Very exemplary of this time era, I think,
Right.
of the sound of the music, and again, music, the sounds that we're just getting ready to
Right.
take off completely. But
Yeah. It was.
not a bad song. But at number 11 is a song that he's been on the chart before.
Yeah.
And Dennis, who is this?
Okay, this is Frankie Valli doing Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Now, he's going back to that singer-songwriter sound. I mean, he's going back to the Rat Pack type songs. Crooner sounds. But you know what? It's fucking awesome. It's a great song.
It really is.
And the thing is, I can't say a bad thing about
The
it.
orchestra on there sounds so good.
Oh, I mean,
too.
guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Frankie
horns.
Valli in the Four Seasons went up through the 70s. With it,
But this wasn't the Four Seasons.
No,
this
that
was
was-
actually his first solo song.
And then we talked about that earlier. That's where
Yeah.
he went solo. But that dude could sing. I mean, just,
Man's 86 years old and still performing.
yeah.
Kind of like Tony Bennett at 400 years old.
And
Yeah, no kidding.
I saw Tony Bennett 2 years ago.
And the man's
And it was the
fantastic.
greatest show I've seen in a long time. That dude could fucking sing his ass off, dude.
He's an entertainer.
He is.
Absolutely.
And that's what they
Performer,
were doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But no, Frankie Valli, good lord.
Yeah.
All right, next is Mirage, Tommy James and the Shondells.
This song had only dropped 2 spots from the previous week. It had already been on the chart for 10 weeks. If you hear it, you'll know it. It's kind of, it's, it's him when you hear him singing anyway, or
Right.
him in the group, but you'll know the song.
Right. It's
Well,
something spectacular.
But number 9 is George Gershwin meets the 1960s with a group called The Happenings. I Got Rhythm. So, oh yes, it's I Got Rhythm done to 1960s pop sound.
Yeah, it's that bubblegum bullshit. Just not my thing. Don't care.
It
is what it is.
Happening. They had some pretty good songs,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that wasn't one of them.
that wasn't one of them. It just was I don't know. It's
Yeah.
what it
They
is.
actually had some better songs on that album, and that didn't make it to the charts,
It's interesting.
which is oftentimes the case. That's
Well,
why I
yeah.
like albums.
Yeah.
You know, you listen
Right,
to the whole
right.
thing, and
Oh, there's
You can pick and choose and
Right.
say, oh yeah, just because this was popular doesn't mean it was good.
because they tried to cram this down our throats.
I would
Right.
say
We don't have to
85%
listen to
of the
it.
albums that I have, the hits off the albums are not my favorite songs on the album.
I think that's
almost
a good point.
always the case.
Because the problem is the band picks the band. Well, not the band.
producers, the record
producers, and
The record
the record
company.
companies pick the ones that they're going to put out for
Right.
a hit. Now, and they could have an album that going out with no hits or 45, but yet there's some great songs.
But those guys don't have a job then the next
there's
Right,
year.
right. Absolutely true.
exactly.
So, number 9's another Motown song. This was
Yeah.
one of the last songs where David Ruffin was the lead singer of the Temptations, and that's All I Need. David Ruffin, fantastic voice, had a lot of substance and other problems, and ego, if nothing else. Said, well, I want to jump out on my own. After he jumped out on his own, it took him a very long time into the 70s to actually have any real hit songs of his own, so it probably wasn't the most prudent move on his part. Dennis Edwards replaced him, and they went on to make shitloads of more music with Dennis Edwards and still Eddie Ruffin. I mean, Eddie Kendricks, not Eddie Ruffin. But number 7, Mr. Talbot.
Everyone knows it's windy.
And windy's
It's been windy the last couple of days, actually.
It's a very recognizable song.
But I tell you what, that's another one. The Association is one of those bands that made some great hits.
They really do.
And they are very, not even pop. They're not only pop oriented type songs, but they're very commercially usable songs.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that have been, through TV ads and through radio ads and stuff.
I remember that song from my childhood. Definitely.
That's what I'm saying. It's one of those songs that you just like. As soon as we heard it, it's like, well, I know.
I think we were living in Nashville, Tennessee.
So that was a time machine for you.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you back to that point. That was an AM classic. Everyone knows.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Of course, I didn't hit anything on the YouTube or for the YouTube for that.
Well, you were doing the spoken word version of Rod McEwen. So.
But anyway, what a great tune! And but there again, the Association after this, how far did they go from this point? Was this?
They still had a lot of hits left.
Did they have a lot of? Okay.
Yeah, they still had some hits left.
And like I said, I don't want to feel like I'm stupid. It's not one of the genres that I kept up with as a kid. So when I asked those questions,
when we were kids, we listened to what adults were playing.
Right.
So every now and then we'd hear a song like, "Oh, that's really cool,"
Right.
but most of the damn time it's like.
But once I got to the point where I could follow stuff, this is not the stuff that I went back and discovered.
Agreed.
So whenever I'm just saying for the people who are listening to the show, don't take me as an idiot. This is nothing that you can. I mean,
Well, this is a little
and
before
you
we
guys
could actually listen to music.
Well, we're 60. We're 2 years old, or
Yeah, not even serious. Not even.
I
serious.
I couldn't adjust the radio dial or anything.
I shit my pants.
I remember I did that back then.
I did. I think I shit my pants during this song one time.
Maybe.
Yeah, but were you really 2 years old or 20?
It was like last week, but
Okay,
it was
there you
okay.
So when you hear the songs that make you want to shit your pants,
I do.
That's kind of.
I feel like a poop every time I hear this song. Everyone knows it's windy. Well, I feel kind of crappy. I gotta pee. Or I gotta poop.
So,
all right.
and on that
Enough shit
scatological
humor.
note, yeah. Speaking of,
right.
So number 6 is the Music Explosion. I'm damn sure this was their only hit song.
You think with a name like that?
It's
It's an explosion.
It's a recognizable song. It's
Right.
a little bit of soul.
Yeah.
When you hear it, when you first hear it, you hear the bass intro and the banging on the
Right.
drums. So it's
But a music explosion is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame whatsoever.
yeah, but unfortunately, fucking hard is, and those fuckers shouldn't be.
No,
So
don't.
Skank Donna.
Native American.
Well, we can the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a show. Actually, it's about 45 shows within itself, and then we'll get in. Actually, we'll do that. At some
I think
point.
that's.
I think we need to get into the Rock and
we
Roll
need to
Hall
do
of
a
Fame.
chart show of like, yeah, exactly. I agree of our.
Not even it'd be a sub chart show.
See, because the chart show doesn't always have to be charts that we're using, such as the Billboard charts. They can be charts of our own where we can come up with the top 10 groups that shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's true too.
And the top 10 groups who should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You just found our little.
I think it's, because
found
I think between the three of us and anybody else we could get to join in on that one, we could have a really
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm gonna have to drink hard and fucking be ready to go because I'm gonna be.
You're fired
pissed.
up about that one,
I'll
aren't
be
you?
pissed off.
it's very polarizing.
I am
Very,
fucking
very
pissed
polarizing.
off.
Yeah. So
A lot of F-bombs on that show.
well, like any other show. So and
All
no, I
right.
did not teach him how to swear.
Yes, you did.
So
You should. All right.
anyway. The next song is Grace Slick, Paul Kantner, Marty Ballin, Jorma Kaukonen, a bunch of other dudes. I can't think of all their names right now, but this is the Jefferson Airplane.
Airplane. Not Starship. The airplane.
Yeah, Somebody to Love.
And this is
Yeah.
this is a song that's going to be one of the ones that kind of brings us into the new era.
Craig Chiquito on
Craig
No.
Kachiko.
Not on this. He wasn't on this. He was in
He
Starship.
wasn't on this yet?
He was
The
in
Carvin guy?
He was in Starship.
Oh, wow.
He was Starship. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't come along till Starship. But no, Somebody to Love is one of those songs that's going to bring us into this, starting at the Monterey, and then of course
It's a perfect time between this and San Francisco. This really is the week
throughout, and then also on to our previous show, which was Woodstock.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
There were
Summer of Love.
Absolutely.
Find somebody to love.
Yeah,
exactly.
And love them now.
And then Jefferson Airplane was one of those,
hopefully more
bands
than
that really
Timmy Two Pump or whatever.
Timmy's Two Pumper.
Two Pump Chuck.
Two Pump Chucks. Anyway, but yeah. So we'll actually get back into Jefferson Airplane after
And this
wrap up the chart here. But go ahead.
So this next one here is just completely. I mean,
it's not out of place. It's indicative of the times.
True, that's
I
true.
mean, we're looking at it in retro-wise.
We are,
so if you were living, you were still shitting your pants at that point,
right? So I'm still shitting my pants, and I'm like, I'm going to hear this song on the radio. I'm not going to. Okay, I can agree. Looking back at it is very, very out of place, and it's still another one of those singer-songwriter, and what you call
no, they're crooners.
Crooners.
They're not singer-songwriters. They're crooners.
But Engelbert Humperdinck was a huge. I mean, him along with Tom Jones and all these people.
God bless Tom Jones. Tom Jones. Nobody talks shit about Tom Jones.
R.I.P.
And I would put him in with the Hedgehog, from what I've heard.
Save the Hedgehog.
No, we don't want to save the Hedgehog. Remember
we talked about the
yeah. So anyway, but no, Release Me, Let Me Go.
Release me.
Which has been a song.
Let me go. Oh God, please.
Which won't hit the.
I can't listen to this shit anymore.
But this song has been redone. I mean,
many
redone and redone again and redone. Everybody knows this song.
Redundant.
It's redundant.
Yeah. I think Don Ho did a version of this. I'm damn sure he did.
Probably, yeah.
Tiny Release Me Bubbles.
Yeah, that's what he was saying about Tiny Bubbles.
Please release my bubbles.
Yeah, exactly.
Let them go.
Please
release me, Tiny Bubbles. Yeah,
so anyway, no, but you know what? Engelbert Humperdinck, huge crooner, made a hell of a career. Great song. It just, to me, it seems out of place in this top 40.
Well, but again, we're looking at it through retro-wise.
Right, retro-wise, but it is what it is. Do you know what can you see where it was the previous week? Was it going up or down?
Number 4. Stayed the same spot.
So it was the same spot? Yeah. Interesting.
One song that did jump 4 spots is number 3, right. Flo and Eddie, better known as Howard Kaylan and Mark Volman. She'd rather be with me by the Turtles. Some girls like to screw around, like to tag every dude they see.
Like a caribou.
But my girl, she don't mess around, 'cause she only wants to be with me.
All right. This is not a singing show, but that's okay.
Well, not when I'm singing anyway.
I always liked Happy Together. That was my Turtles.
I love Eleanor.
My Turtles.
So was this song here before those two hits that you're talking about there?
Happy Together was probably what?
That was
later.
65.
Oh, so
they're
they're toward the end.
I figured that would be like 69 or something.
No. Happy Together was 65.
How could they be happy then? I don't know.
Because it was the year I was born. We were born.
I think Eleanor came after this. Which do you guys know Eleanor?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Eleanor G, I think you're swell.
I think we had enough. Yeah.
You don't like my singing, dude?
We've had enough singing.
No. I'm just getting warmed up.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't like my singing, remember, you can send the check to Singing Lessons for Joe, P.O. Box.
BiteMyNuts.com. Anyway.
Yeah, we're starting a GoFundMe for Joe to have singing lessons or a muzzle, one of the two.
Yeah. We're up to number 2.
Number 2 is
Yes.
an Otis Redding song. So this is Otis's second appearance.
Okay.
It's a song that he recorded first. But then
I've never heard Otis's version.
Well, he recorded it first. He released it the year before. And then he said, then here comes this little girl, and she just steals my song. And why wouldn't she? Because she's just that damn good. It's the Queen of Souls, Aretha Franklin, and Respect.
Yep.
Which, by the way, the R-E-S-P-E-C-T is an Aretha addition to the song, which really, is a fantastic...
Oh, he didn't originally do that?
No, he didn't do that.
Yeah, it really tags that song.
It does. That's the whole point. People, you spell that shit?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
I mean, the only other person who did that was D-I-V-O-R-C.
My D.
D-R-O-U-B-L-E.
Trouble.
Oh, I was thinking about the divorce song. Was that what's her name?
Tammy Wynette, dude.
Tammy Wynette, yeah.
Absolutely.
Divorce.
That's a fantastic song. So the
number
one song on this week, though, is a song that I absolutely love by a group I absolutely love.
Groovin'.
Absolutely. Groovin' by the Young Rascals. I recommend everybody to go to YouTube and look up Silvio Dante, if you're a Sopranos fan, better known as Little Steven Van Zandt, and his induction of this group into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's actually David Chase, the creator of The Sopranos, saw him do this induction into the Hall of Fame for this group, and that's where he got hired to do The Sopranos.
Really?
Because of the very colorful and enjoyable induction speech that he gave for these guys. So it's a fantastic induction.
It's like, we want you to run the bada bing.
Right, exactly. What do you think about strippers?
Strippers love me.
Exactly.
Okay, I never watched The Sopranos. I'm the same guy that didn't watch The Godfather.
Oh, no.
Sorry. So yeah,
but
I suck. Sorry.
You do, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
So that's the top 40. We're going to. I'm going to go ahead and
talk about.
We're going to do a couple things real quick here on this. Is that first of all, as we always do.
I forgot about that.
What songs would you put into your list? And if Rod, if you ever start a list, we can let you jump into this. What in our 3,000 best 3,000 songs, 3,000 plus songs we've heard to date, or so far. What songs from this chart would you put in your top 3,000?
All right. So mine would be, of course, The Happening by the Supremes, which is a song that just reminds me of my childhood. Going up the list here real quick, because I can keep forgetting we were going to do this. Creek Alley by Mamas and Papas. I'm a huge Cass Elliot fan. Great. And you know what? The other one is San Francisco by Scott McKenzie. That is that's one of those songs that just kind of sets the mood for that year, for that decade, or not decade, but that what's the word? The generation.
The generation.
Generation is. It
was only its second week on the chart. It was up to number 20, and
Now, will I put those in my top 3,000? I should, but now that you've listened to this, I don't know. You know.
Well, I mean, I
need to get in there.
I would put Groovin'.
Groovin's a good song too.
If Groovin' came on my random play, if I was sitting there and
you would like
hanging out listening to music, I wouldn't turn it off. I'd be.
That's the whole point about it. Is it's the ones that really. The thing I do with my 3,000 songs is it has to be a song that's a time machine for me.
Right. If
I hear this song and it's just a song, it's not one of my 3,000. It has to spark a memory. That's the way. And like I said, Joe does his a different way. That's the way I do mine. It's just the 3,000.
3,000 sounds like a lot, but then when you really start breaking it down,
but you don't.
Really not that many.
It's not. I mean, and the thing is, he set the number. I don't even give a shit because I'll go over that if I have to. But the thing is, they have to be songs that really mean something to me. I mean, there's songs that I like, but I don't put them on there because they just don't spark. They're a great song, but there's no memory attached.
I put Groovin' in San Francisco.
Yeah, those are good songs. Both of those are good songs.
And I think those are great additions.
Ain't No Mountain. Maybe that might be.
That's a good one too. That's a good one.
I mean, as far as in just going through the list here, I mean, I would.
Ooh, and Up and Away. Sorry, I'm going to add that.
I was wondering why you didn't add that.
Enough. Well, I didn't go down that far. I thought I only did a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Ain't No Mountain High Enough would definitely put on there. Will definitely put on there. Perhaps Alfie.
Really?
Well, because again, it's. I mean, shit. By the time my 3,000 songs.
Dionne Warwick knew you were in.
By the way, it's 3,000 plus songs. So
yeah, so it's plus.
Okay.
So it's. I would assume that probably when I'm up to like number. Well past 3,000.
$299.99.
Are you making a playlist with these songs?
Yeah, we're doing all.
So you're adding them as. this.
No,
is
we're
going
not
out.
doing a playlist. We're just doing
But now
it on our
that
website.
Dennis has shown me how to do this,
We should start a Spotify playlist with this 3,000.
I think that's a fantastic idea. And
more work for me.
Let's
Thank
put
you.
Dennis
I
in
appreciate
charge
it.
of that.
I second that. I second that motion. All in favor?
High five. Yeah,
High five.
aye. Yeah.
All right. So what
Opposed?
I'll do is, you COVID bastards, I'm not touching you. Anyway,
You'll play with your balls, but you won't touch us.
all right. So what I will do is, I will start in the next week. I will put on follow me on Spotify, where you see all this other stuff that we have, and I'll post that list. And I guess it'll keep updating.
Just call it the 3,000. The fabulous 3,000.
So what I'll do is I'll put,
That'd be easy.
and it won't be in any order whatsoever. But it'll
Mine
be all
will be.
No,
But mine's not ranked. It's just in the order.
Yeah, just
I'm gonna put these songs in. I'm gonna put all.
this could end up being the ultimate playlist. It could be the ultimate.
What you did so far,
the reason
and
I
what
do-
I did.
Well, the reason I number them is that way I know where I'm
Right.
getting on
Right.
the list.
But the whole point is, whenever I put them on Spotify, I'm not numbering them. They're just gonna be put on there.
Well, I'm
and
not ranking them. I'm just numbering them.
Right, I don't rank them either. So
But,
anyway,
but no. So just let me just finish out
Put that one back.
my list here.
Here. Oh, hold on a minute.
It's
Did you hear
refreshment time for
Was
the
that a
boys.
stereo?
That is in stereo.
Right on. So
I'll still
like
have
I
more of
said,
these though. But anyway,
Probably Alfie. Like I said, going through there. Probably not Ding Dong, which is dead.
oh come on. I want the Munchkin version though.
And definitely grooving. So those are mine now.
There's some good songs on
Just-
there. You can't pick them all.
Since we're going to go into how music changed, I'm going to show you. On this show only. I'm going to show you the 3 songs that
It's
dropped
gonna be
off,
the longest show we've ever done. We're at 1 hour and 30 minutes so
and
far.
we got about another half an hour to go.
Let's go.
But I want to just the songs that dropped off this week. On a Carousel by the Hollies, really a fun song. Sweet Soul Music by Arthur Conley. You'd know that because he mentions all of the soul music singers in that song. And then a really cool Australian group called the Easy Beats, Friday on My Mind. The Power Plays, the songs that were moving up like crazy, were Boogum Boogum Boogum. It's the Oogum Boogum song by Brenton Wood. I Was Made to Love Her by Stevie Wonder.
Oh wow.
Shake by Otis Redding. So again, he was starting to get a little play. And Light My Fire at number 50 by The Doors. So that's these were songs that were.
Is this the following week?
These are songs making the run towards the top 40.
Okay.
So these are songs that are definitely going to make it. So, but anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually focus a little bit on the Monterey Pop Festival, and what I do with this, like I did with the Woodstock, I'm going to go through the playlist for the or set list, I should say, not the playlist, the set list. So. And if you watch the documentary, you can really enjoy the how to.
How many days was Monterey?
3.
Was it 3
Friday,
days?
Friday night,
Saturday,
Friday
Sunday?
afternoon, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So Friday evening, it kicked off with the Association.
Wow. Okay.
So they played 3 songs: "Enter the Young," which I do not know; "Along Comes Mary,"
Right.
great song, and then again "Windy."
Okay. Good set.
Yeah. After that was the Paupers, who they must not have made a lot of money because I never heard from them again. But they were introduced by David Crosby. They played 6 songs, and then the third act was, and this kind of shows how they were mixing it up with the different
The sardines.
exactly was actually Lou Rawls, who was a fantastic singer, was a backup singer.
You'll never
Yeah.
I
find
love that song.
That man.
another love like mine.
Exactly. So
Someone who
now they're definitely.
loves you the way
Like I
I do.
Well, I'm not. Never mind.
Let's see if that one hits.
Indeed.
I like Lou Roy.
So
Get that
he was actually introduced by Peter Tork of the Monkees of all
Really?
people. Yeah. But so
No
Ladies
talent.
and gentlemen,
No
please
talent.
welcome.
No talent. Doing a talent guy. Yeah.
exactly.
All right.
So, but some of his songs include his hits of the time:
Right.
"Love Is a Hurtin' Thing," "Dead End Street," and "Tobacco Road." After that was somebody named Beverly, who was introduced by Paul Simon. Then we get to Johnny Rivers. Now, here's some of Johnny's cover songs for the night.
All right.
Help Me Rhonda.
Really?
Yeah, the Beach Boys song, the Chuck Berry song, Memphis, Tennessee. Mountain of Love, which actually might have been his song. Midnight Special. Let the Midnight
Right.
Special, yeah.
Come
Baby,
on.
I Need Your Lovin', Poor Side of Town, Secret Agent Man, and then Help by the Beatles, which he apparently performed twice.
So did Johnny Rivers have any of his own tunes, or was he?
Yeah,
just
I
a
think
cover?
I think that
Was he a cover guy?
I think Poor Side of Town might
Okay.
have been Secret Agent Man for sure.
That was a guitar riff.
Right.
He was
That's
the
what I'm
riff
saying, yeah.
master, man.
Hey, the man could play guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, he
no
was a
shit.
guitar player too.
Oh yeah.
See, I thought he was just a singer.
No, he's playing. He's ripping these out on the guitar,
See,
man.
and that's the thing. The thing
Secret
I like
Agent
about.
Man, there,
See, that's one thing I like about this show is I learn things.
Well, and of course,
I always thought Johnny Rivers was a crooner. Singer.
Johnny
So
Johnny
he's-
Rivers was was one of those New York Italian fellas who
Gotcha.
changed his name.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
All right.
the next group after that was Eric Burden and the Animals, and by
Right.
the way, this wasn't a hit revival set. They played San Francisco Nights, Gin House Blues, Hey Gyp, GYP, and Paint It Black, of all things, by the
Huh.
Rolling Stones.
That's odd.
So, after that, Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh.
So we're definitely crossing a few. We'll go from rock to pop to soul,
So,
back to pop. Yeah,
What about the singer-songwriter at this point?
well,
so what?
definitely singer-songwriters.
So what
with
was
Paul
her? So what was her?
Homeward Bound,
Okay.
At the Zoo, great
Okay.
song. 59th Street Bridge songs, Feeling Groovy.
All right.
For Emily, Wherever I May Find Her.
All right.
Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend, The Sound of
Yeah.
Silence. Benedictus and Punky's Dilemma.
So 6 songs.
Yeah, so they they didn't stick only to that. Now, Saturday afternoon, day 2.
So that was they were the headliners for Friday night. Then.
They were the Friday night. They closed
Okay.
it down Friday night. Saturday afternoon opened up with one of my absolute favorite bands of all time, Canned Heat. And they did 3 songs that are fantastic: "Rollin' and Tumblin'," "Dust My Broom," Gold Elmore James song, and "Bullfrog Blues," another fantastic. And this is an incomplete list. Nobody has a full. I would say they probably would.
I say they got to come together and
Everybody was so fucked
Going
up.
up the country.
So-
yeah, going up the country.
They
Yeah,
were so high. It's like going, what did they play?
I forgot.
I don't
man.
know.
I
man.
thought I
don't
wrote
know.
it down. But
Well, and of course they had 2 lead singers in the
It's like,
sense
dude,
that-
you're supposed to be the guy that writes this shit down.
right.
Oh,
I know.
shit. I forgot.
So Canned Heat is one of those bands that you mentioned before
Right.
that did Woodstock and Monterey. So they
Right.
did Monterey, they did Woodstock,
Right.
as did I don't know Simon and Garfunkel. I guess they did, didn't they?
pretty good on your resume.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but after they finished, was a group that really kind of shook some doors in the rock and roll world, rock music world, and blues rock music world. After that, Big Brother and the Holding Company with Janis Joplin.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So they did Down on Me, combination of the 2, Roadblock and Ball and Chain. You can see Down on Me and Ball and Chain
And that's
in
all
the
they
documentary.
did. They did what, 5 songs?
4 songs.
5 songs. They
Was it
did
5?
Harry as well, yeah. So
What a gig!
yeah. Well, there were so
Yeah.
many. There were so many acts. Well, I'm going to get into after this. After
Well, you know,
who
they
didn't
were-
show up at the show too.
They were doing a lot of drugs at the time. You can't.
It's hard to play music.
You can't sustain that greatness for long when you're
I guess.
like coked up and just whacked out. And just,
After Janis introduced herself to the world in a way that nobody had ever seen, Country Joe and the Fish came on.
Country Joe and the Fish.
They did Not So Sweet Martha the Rain, which is a great song.
They're Woodstock people too.
They did Woodstock as well, that's correct. I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag, The Bomb Song, and Section 43. So, now, after Country Joe and the Fish was an amazing musician, and that's Al Cooper, Kooper.
You're the cat.
Yeah, no, that's
That's
Al.
Al
Stewart.
Michaels.
No, that's Al Stewart.
Al
Well,
Michaels. Al Michaels.
That's NFL
Yeah,
football.
This is football sport. He's like, I tell you
So-
what, we're going to talk about foot. No, I'm the wrong guy. Sorry.
So, born Alan Peter Cooper Schmidt, he was actually known for organizing Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Oh,
So, and a lot of other things that he did here, but let me get back to this real quick. So he was introduced by Paul Butterfield. And so he played 2 songs, I Can't Keep From Crying Sometimes and Wake Me, Shake Me, followed by the Butterfield Blues Band. And they did Look Over Yonder's Wall, Mystery Train, Born in Chicago, Double Trouble, Marianne, Dropping Out, One More Heartache, and Driftin' Blues. So, again, this is another kind of rock. You're seeing a lot more blues rock.
And we're talking like midday right now.
We're talking midday.
Midday.
Yeah. So
I'd still be drinking beer at that point.
I'd just be waking up going,
absolutely.
what?
What?
Did you make out more of some of those mushrooms?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
after that was another famous San Francisco era band of this time, and that's Quicksilver Messenger Service. Dino's song, If You Live, Acapulco Gold and Silver, Too Long, and Who Do You Love? Which was not,
That'd be a good time to take a shit. I'd just be shitting.
You don't want to do that at the
But
festival.
the reason that's the reason
I don't want to hook a porta potty up that long.
dude, they're a good band. You need to actually listen to them.
I'm teasing.
But
Just chill out.
so the group that played right after that was part of Quicksilver Messenger Service previously. Then he went out on his own, and that's Mr. Steve Miller and the Steve Miller Band. And his songs were da 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 da, living in the USA.
That's what he opened up with?
Yeah.
Yeah, great harmonica on that.
Absolutely. Then he did Mercury Blues and Super Shuffle.
Isn't that crazy that he's got a whole thing that nobody knows about? The Steve Miller Band. Oh yeah, we know that one, the Jungle Love and stuff. He plays, and there's his early stuff. People have no idea what that is.
Very bluesy stuff, and then of
He
course
almost has like 2 careers.
And who was in the Steve Miller Band? Boss Skaggs.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
absolutely.
Right.
So, after the Steve Miller Band, to finish out the afternoon set was the Electric Flag, and these dudes are fantastic. If you see the video, if you see the concert video of this, they're really cool. They did "Groovin' Is Easy," "Over Lovin' You," "The Nighttime Is the Right Time," and then the one they play in the
Not for
documentary,
Two Pump Chump.
"Wine," which is a great song. But then we go into
I like wine.
I like lamb. I love lamb.
Lamb.
That's a.
But then for the evening set is when we.
It's a reference. Anyway,
The evening set is when we start to warm up a little bit.
right, it's Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night.
So we
Moby
got-
Grape opens the evening.
Won't be great.
A group that didn't stay around long, but actually, if you've listened to some of their albums, definitely a little bit psychedelic, a lot of bit of fun.
Right.
Hugh Masekela played after him, and then they followed by the Byrds.
The Birds. Cool.
Yeah, and they played a pretty good set. They played Renaissance Fair, Have You Seen Her Face, Hey Joe, He Was a Friend of Mine, Lady Friend, Chimes of Freedom, I Know My Rider, which I Know My Rider in blues terms, because this is what they were singing, is a Sugar Mama. So,
They played more what I would consider like a rock set,
right. So then they featured out with Hugh Masekela from the previous set on trumpet. So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star was
Right.
how they ended
I
their
like
set.
that song.
Yeah. Now, the next artist is definitely a singer-songwriter, and that's Laura Nero. And she did Eli's Comin', which was done later by Three Dog Night, I believe. Stone Soul Picnic, Fifth Dimension. Wedding Bell Blues, Fifth Dimension. And Poverty Train, which I don't know. And after she finished up her set, The Airplane came out. And they did Somebody to Love, Other Side of This Life, White Rabbit, She Has Funny Cars, The Ballad of You and Me, and Punil, whoever the hell that is, or whatever that is. And so that was Paul Kantner, Marty Ballin, Jack Cassidy, Joe McCalkin, and Spencer Dryden. That's who I was forgetting.
You know the real weird
Grace
thing is
Slick.
about it. I don't recognize probably 3 of those songs.
But that was an awesome show, though.
I
Oh,
guarantee
yeah.
it was.
So intense.
Absolutely.
That's before Grace started getting really fucked up, though. She had some really bad shows, like after Woodstock and that shit, where she was
kind of
getting,
overdid it. Kind of.
she get all drunk, and they were in Germany, and she starts sitting on the edge of the stage going, kind of do that fuck you kind of shit.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Like
she has
Axl
some
Rose or
real.
something.
She has a real. No, yeah, she made Axl Rose look like a choir boy. Yeah, she had some really bad concerts back in the day.
Well, and so the evening ended out with, again, as every time he comes onto the show, one of our chart shows, fellow Indiana University alumnus, Booker T. Jones, Booker T. and the MGs. For those of you who don't know, in addition to Al Jackson on drums, you had Donald Duck Dunn on bass and Steve the Colonel Cropper on guitar.
Cropper.
And so
That sounds like the Blues Brothers.
they are the Blues Brothers. That is absolutely correct. They
I'm
are the
telling
Blues.
you. You can put those guys together. I hear a dun 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 dun. dun.
Exactly, and so
How much for the women?
they only played four songs in their set.
Wow.
Booker Lou, Hip Hugger, which is a very famous because they're an instrumental group, Philly Dog, and then Green Onions. And the only reason they played 4 songs in their set was because they, along with Wayne Jackson and Andrew Love, better known as the Memphis Horns, were just getting their little warm-up going to introduce the world to Mr. Otis Redding.
There you go.
And Otis Redding with that green suit looked just dapper as hell. And so he did an amazing set. Starting with Shake, the Sam Cooke song.
Yep.
Respect.
Yep.
I've been loving you too long now. And then he went into his version of the Rolling Stones' Satisfaction, which is an excellent version. And then the one that just brought down the absolute crowd to close out the night. Oh, she may be weary. Try a little tenderness. So that's how they closed out Saturday night at the Monterey Pop Festival. In the next session on Sunday, June 18th, 1967, the afternoon session was Nora. Speaking of Nora Jones, Nora Jones' daddy, Ravi Shankar. By the way, did you know he played Rakatoti Rupi Tai?
What's that?
Did you know that he played Rakatoti
No.
Rupi Tai? Rupi Tai?
The hell is that?
Well, I just figured you'd have liked that.
No.
So he did a few of his songs. And that was the only afternoon session. Apparently it probably took him about 6 hours to do that. But so here's where we get to closing down the show
Yeah.
for the night, the evening session. A group called the Blues Project. A repeat performance by Big Brother and the Holding Company. They did Combination of Two and Ball and Chain. A group with no name. Their set list was unknown.
A group with no name.
No
and their set
set
list was unknown.
That's perfect.
And who was in the band?
We're gonna play
Don't
music
know.
that no one has ever heard before.
Nobody was in the band.
But then
That's the greatest shit ever. It's like I don't know.
Hey, you guys have any business cards? Yeah, right.
It's a blank fucking card.
exactly.
Oh my God.
Give us a call.
They could call me.
So the group that came after the group with no name was a group with a name, but one of the members had to be substituted because he was doing whatever else he was doing. He was substituted by David Crosby. So Neil Young was substituted
Really?
by David Crosby, and this was Buffalo Springfield. And they did For What It's Worth, Nowadays, Rock and Roll Woman, Bluebird, Child's Claim to Fame, and Pretty Girl Why. Now, the next 3 groups... well, actually, let's put it this way. The next 3 groups defined 1960s rock and roll. And that starts
Be big.
that starts out with The Who.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they did Substitute,
Yep.
Ain't No Cure for the Summertime Blues, Pictures of Lily, a quick one while he's away, Happy Jack,
Right.
the only film not the only song
And
then,
that's the weirdest video ever.
Why don't y'all just fuck off?
Fuck off.
Exactly, My Generation.
Fade away.
So then another group that personified the 60s, I got to see them 3 times in concert. The Grateful Dead.
Oh wow.
No.
They
See, that's
did
something I have no...
They did Viola Lee Blues, Cold Rain and Snow, and Alligator / Caution. Do not stop on the tracks.
And that was what, an hour and a half?
Oh, I'm sure it was.
No,
shit.
I'll put
If you've ever been to one of his concerts, it takes Jerry a fucking half an hour to tune up his guitar to where he
I
wants it.
will. I'm going to put this out here right now on this podcast. I fucking hate the Grateful Dead. I don't like anything they ever done.
You're not grateful they are dead.
I'm not. I'm just no.
Well,
no. And like people like and they are nowadays. I'm sad that everybody passed away, but their music does zero for me. I'm just. Ugh.
They got some great music.
Man, they're horrible. It's fucking horrible.
I wouldn't say they're horrible.
And
they're
Dave,
not horrible.
It's just not what you like.
And Dave
like
Matthews has this morphed into this fucking shit to where he's like
what
the
he's
Grateful
basically
Dead
saying
light.
is he doesn't like
Jam music.
he doesn't like jam music.
No, I
Yeah.
don't like jam. I do not
He
like
hates
jam.
jam
music. I do. I hate it.
He's very Caucasian
I
that
fucking
way.
hate it.
So
Oh yeah, okay.
anyway,
You need to get a tattoo or something, dude.
so let's
Because they can't see that. Yeah, no. The thing is, I just don't like it. Sorry.
But the next group was introduced by Brian Jones because he's actually, I believe, the guy who really found them and brought them to more prominence, brought them back to the United States, if nothing else. Brian Jones being of the Rolling Stones.
that is dead.
And this is the Jimi Hendrix experience.
There you go.
And so, like Janis Joplin and Otis Redding.
And I'm holding up the album. I found it.
I'd say that has to be the most iconic moment in rock and roll. One of them, anyway.
We can play this.
Jimi Hendrix at Monterey
Actually,
Pop.
when we're done,
yeah.
if you want to, we can go downstairs and play it.
The two are just...
The record itself is not in that bad of shape, and I need to put it in a sleeve.
Well, like I said, I mean, when you listen to our set list from the top 40 list that we did,
right,
and then you jump to the set list of Monterey Pop,
so
you can see a complete divergence from. Ooh.
So here, let me do this.
Well, wait till I give the set list, then you can.
What I'm saying, I'm going to do the set list for what I got on the record.
imagery.
I want to see if it's
the image of him burning his guitar. You know?
Right.
Oh yeah, and then bringing the flames up.
Yeah,
and humping the guitar.
Talk about defining.
So I got 4
moment,
songs
defining
on
a
my
time.
record.
Well, there's more than that. He did more.
Okay, so that's the record that I have, and this is the Jimi Hendrix Experience and Otis Redding historic performance by the Monterey Pop International Pop Festival and by Arista Records. As far as the Otis Redding side, the side 1, it is Shake, Respect, I've Been Loving You Too, Can't Get No Satisfaction, Try a Little Tenderness.
That's it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix says, Like a Rolling Stone, Rock Me Baby, Can You See Me, and Wild Thing.
Which is only 4 of the 9 songs that he played.
So
he started out with Killing Floor, then he went to Dun 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 Foxy Lady. Like a Rolling Stone. He did a Bob Dylan cover, which he also did that with, not in this, but he also did all along the Watchtower.
I got the video of it too. I got the whole
So
thing.
there's 4 songs: Rock Me Baby. Then he did Hey Joe, Can You See Me, The Wind Cries Mary, Purple Haze, and Wild Thing.
Wild Thing.
So, which now, so that was actually the huge moments. Like I said, when those 3 people alone, even though so many great artists at this show, and like I said, in a second I'm going to tell you who wasn't there before we wrap this up. But the show was closed out by the Mamas and Papas because John Phillips was actually the organizer of this concert, one of the 2 main organizers.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So they did So Mamas and Papas set was Straight Shooter, Spanish Harlem. So they did a little Lieber and Stoller themselves. Somebody Groovy, Got a Feeling, California Dreamin', which you should do, I guess, at Monterey. Sure. I Call Your Name, and then Monday, Monday. When they finished, they backed Scott McKenzie singing San Francisco. So that was, like I said, not only was it
another great song.
Great song that was blasting up the charts.
I would add that to my 3,000.
Right.
Yeah.
That went on the charts then, was it?
It was number 20.
It was number 20.
It was number 20.
Okay.
But like I said, second week on the charts was number 20. It was, the Monterey Pop Festival was not only the official kickoff of the Summer of Love, but it just kicked off a true step change in rock music.
Right.
And so then the finale, the Mamas and the Papas and Scott McKenzie did Martha Reeves and the Vandellas Dancing in the Street. And that was the finale of the Monterey Pop Festival. I'm going to show you some.
Wonder if it was as good as Mick Jagger and David Bowie's "Dancing in the Street."
Dancing in the Street, yeah.
Yeah, hard to say.
Oh boy.
It'd be kind of interesting to hear both of them together and see what they would.
I need some cool air after thinking about that one because that was hot.
Absolutely. So just a quick wrap up on who didn't make the show.
Okay.
Actually, the Beach Boys didn't make it.
Were these are people slated but didn't make it?
Yeah. Dionne Warwick and the Impressions were advertised.
And you know why? Dionne Warwick knew not to go.
She knew not to go.
Her psychic people told her.
Yeah. So these were cancellations.
That was probably bad. That was some bad advice.
I'm just telling you.
Some of the people that declined included, because they'd quit touring altogether, was the Beatles. The Beatles declined. Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band declined. Bob Dylan declined because he was still recovering from his motorcycle accident the previous year. So that's why Hendrix paid tribute to him with "Like a Rolling Stone." And several Motown artists were set to perform, and even given the label, we're going to give the label's artists their own slot.
Right.
However, Barry Gordy refused to let any of his acts appear because the money grubbing son of a bitch probably didn't want him to.
So I know we're going long, but I want to ask you a question because go for it. Pete, go for it. Go. Anyway, that's what we do.
Go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah. So my question is I know that you said that the Beatles denied or just didn't want to do the concert.
Well, no, just any concert. They'd quit touring.
That's what I'm saying. Where were they in? Because I don't know the history. I mean, honestly, I love the Beatles. Some of their shit, I actually like their later stuff. I don't know when they stopped playing. I don't know when it was.
Well, they broke up in 70.
Okay. So when this happened, why weren't they... What was their reason for not doing it? Where were they at recording-wise? Where were they at?
I think this was...
I'm asking you.
I know. I'm thinking this is...
and I'm putting you on the spot.
I think this was right when Sgt. Pepper...
so you would think they would come out and do something.
They didn't. They did not. Any of their last several albums.
Right. I know they were all,
And so this actually Sgt. Pepper debuted 3 weeks earlier.
Okay.
So
they couldn't come out and did a couple of tunes, like a couple
songs.
No,
but I mean they had really quit recording after that. They'd done Revolver before.
But after Sgt. Pepper, you also had. What after Sgt. Pepper you had?
Magical Mystery Tour.
But then you had Abbey. Of course, Let It Be was your last one. You had.
Well, they did the White Album in '68.
The White Album '68, and you had
Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road, which is
Abbey Road was a fucking
amazing album,
masterpiece, and then Let It Be.
And then Let It Be.
Right.
Yeah. So that's.
But the thing was, you would think that they would want to come out and even do a couple of songs, even if they had to go back and revert to, playing some of their old original tunes. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that.
Well, but I mean, but no, they had plenty of music coming out. But I mean, they if you remember, they quit touring because they couldn't hear themselves. The screaming was so loud.
You know what though? Monterey would have been a normal. There wouldn't get any more screams.
Well,
than anybody else.
by '67, that
shit's gone.
Yeah, that shit's gone. I mean, the
Beatlemania,
they'd matured in their music. Beatlemania,
right.
Was now just Beatles fans.
Right.
But Sgt. Pepper was obviously a fantastic album.
Right.
And so no, they did not tour to support it, and it's still considered one of the all-time good albums.
But what I'm saying is, that they were originally going to do it, and then they bowed out.
No, they just declined the invitation.
Oh, they declined the invitation.
Yeah, they declined.
Whenever you first said that, I didn't know if it was like
no. The others
bowed out.
Yeah, no. The first ones I mentioned, they bowed out, but the Beatles just outright declined.
I know we went almost 2 hours on this, which is long.
But at the same time, this is.
But I want to bring up a thing that we had, in our local area in Evansville, Indiana. We had a big festival that happened about the same time. Well, actually, it was more
After Woodstock.
After Woodstock.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that another.
Actually,
that's another one we can.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another time.
Bull Island. Bull Run. Yeah.
And we'll talk about that at some point. I mean, they had some big people that were supposed to be there, and not everybody showed
That
up.
could have really been a big thing.
Right. It was. I mean, there was.
And I think that's something that may be worth a chart show dedication. But this show has been almost 2 hours. But again, that's why I saved it for last, because I knew that this show.
Yeah, it is 2 hours.
Yeah. I knew that this show had more significance than the other shows.
It's a quality 2 hours. It probably flew by.
It did. Oh, it absolutely did. Yeah. And Rock and Rod will be joining us in future shows.
I've had a great time.
And we'll have you in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And by the way,
really enjoy this.
On one of the next times that he joins us, Rod's going to choose the chart. And so we're, just like I mentioned before, or I may have mentioned before, there's a fellow from the next county over from where Dennis and I grew up. His name is Andy Hollenden, and he's a professor in the music school at Indiana University, and he teaches a couple of rock and roll courses, and it's just fantastic. I recommend by all means look him up. Right now, because of the COVID-19 in his class schedule, he's having to record all of his classes, and so he doesn't have the opportunity because I've already sent out the invitation to him. But Andy, having played in local bands around Bloomington for years and things like that, will have much more in common with Dennis and Rod. I just think that we hope that you guys have enjoyed this this series of three episodes of this three segments of the same show, and that we will now be going to different decades altogether. And
we're gonna go very close. Actually, we need to do one of those soon, just to kind of figure out how we're gonna do this, because if we do something in the 2000s, it's gonna be hard for us.
Well, but the thing is, it's not gonna be any different than what we do now, to where
True.
we still listen to all the songs to see if we know them or not.
That's true. Actually, I will know more of stuff in '67 than I'll know in 2000.
Yeah, but that's what's fun about it. We're gonna do it all the way up to the current decade of the 2020s, but that's gonna be a ways down the road, because we got a lot more to get in between.
We got so much stuff other than that. We even talked about today. There's either some movie stuff we'll get into.
Well, yeah, because our chart show.
Charts don't mean it's a chart show.
Yeah, it's not a Billboard chart show. It is a chart show. It's just for a lot of these, we're going to use the Billboard guide because of moments in time we're trying to discuss. But you'll hear other shows from us in the future. We'll have additional friends to Rod on here. We hope Rod would like to be a frequent visitor, because it's a fantastic.
He's close.
He's close, and he's just a great addition.
Yeah.
So we hope that
he's my buddy.
We're going to recruit him to try to be the fifth Beatle, as it were. But
I like it.
Anyway,
cool.
Thank you all so much for joining, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing you and talking to you the next show. Good night.
See ya.
Goodbye.